markers.
This is never used.
I think when the concierge.
Yeah, they clean it out good,
We are live and we are ready.
Okay, we're ready to go. What time is it then?
It's 4:50.
4:50?
Clean.
Oh, we're late.
Yes.
Okay.
Or like 4 1.
Okay, so let's just get going then. Okay, well, on the good way, the joke was when I will see you, Snyari. Because he doesn't see you, just go and nudge on that, just going to start, no, not that, Rooney. He's a guy away, Gatahaya. Yeti sota asatanka garakwa. I don't know how the heck to say this, Grandma Moon, Moon Teaching Sharing Circle. So it's time now for us to bring our minds together and to focus on Grandma Moon. On not what our current perceptions are of her, but of what the truth is, what her identity. If we look at each other and we want to have perceptions of each other, preconceived notions, then if we looked at you with a preconceived notion, you would not like that, and neither would you. Yeah, there's 2 people here with us. That's more than plenty, more than what we need. But if we looked at each other with a preconceived notion and held that upon you, like to say you got to comply with our preconceived notion, then of course you wouldn't like that. And that would actually change our interaction together. You would not be interacting with me on a proper level if I had a preconceived notion of you. So when we know that recently science is identifying of things such as, say, like what they identify as ghost particles. Okay, they're talking about ghost particles that now they think, or not that they think, they now confirm that a ghost particle's behavior, they think it's a certain way, but when it's being observed, it's different. So just think from a girl's perspective. So from a girl's perspective, you're in the morning or at night, you're just walking around your house the way that you want, you know, maybe you got your sweatpants on, maybe you don't have nothing on, maybe you don't care the way you look, your hair's like this, you don't give a crap because nobody's there. You're on your own. The moment you know that you're going out or you're going to be exposed to other people, well, I'm going to fix my hair and I'm going to put on a certain shirt that I like or whatever, or a dress or whatever. So you know that the moment you are observed by somebody else, it changes you, changes your attitude, what you're doing. You know, maybe you're on your own at home and maybe you've done some, burnt your finger or something, and you might go, whatever. You might swear, you might kick something around, but if somebody's there watching you, you're gonna go, you're gonna hold that in. Energy. It's energy that is held in. You don't realize that when you are holding in energy, that energy is supposed to be expended. And if you keep something inside of you that's supposed to be expended, what happens? Don't go to the bathroom for a week and see what happens. It's going to be coming out of your ears. It's going to be coming out of your eyeballs. So you are supposed to expend that energy, not hold it in. If you hold it in, it alters you. So how we are supposed to conduct ourselves all the time is not based on what you think. Well, nobody's observing me right now, so I can do this. I can act stupid. What if you didn't know that somebody was observing you and you're acting stupid? And then they got a perception of you, this person's stupid. You know, like it's a perception that you created without you knowing that somebody else was observing you. So a little carryover, you might not know this, but a little carryover from the discussion we just had a little earlier, you know, of when you know that you're interacting with somebody, that it's going to change your everything. It's gonna change what you do, the way that you are. You're gonna be maybe the best, you know? But then, like we said, we go back to individual, and then we don't care. So you have to always think collectives, just in case somebody's watching you. So that they're not gonna be able to say, hey, wait a minute, you said apples, but no, you're saying oranges. You're not, there's no consistency there. So we gotta be consistent all the time. The way that we are around other people, we gotta be that way all the time. So that we are the best of ourselves all the time. Why is it important to be the best of ourselves? Let's go back to that reality of interaction, what science is now identifying once you're observed. That's why it's important for you to be on your best all the time. When you think you're alone, be on your best. When nobody's watching you, be on your best. Because that's when somebody actually is watching you. That's when you are being judged. And you might think, who are we to judge? That is nonsense. That's religious nonsense. It's male dominant nonsense. If you are a human, that's who you are to judge. You've got all kind of senses, you've got all kind of common sense and all kind of stuff in you to be able to deduce and to say, hey, this person right next to me who's killing, are you gonna say, who am I to judge? Hey, come on. Let them go ahead and kill. Who am I to judge? That's religion, right? Isn't that religion? Who am I to judge? They let killers get away with killing. Because in religion, all you got to do is go and repent. And all that killer has to do is go and tell a priest. And that priest cannot tell the cops, say, hey, I got a killer here in my little repentance booth or whatever that is. It's not going to do that. So that priest, which is within a structure, an organization, supposed to represent whatever they claim to represent, it actually represents evil. Because then they got to harbor criminals. And even if they're not putting them up in the church, you know, or in the religious structure, the fact that once there's a repentance and that person tells, hey, I killed somebody, and that priest knows that they killed somebody, that means that priest after that point is protecting a criminal. And when you're protecting a criminal, if it was you, what would that be called? What could they charge you with if you were protecting a criminal? What do they call it? Aiding and abetting. You'd be aiding and abetting. Is that a crime? Aiding and abetting is a crime. So you know what? Right now, somewhere, not far from here, because there's a lot of repentance booths around here, somewhere there's somebody repenting for something that has affected you directly. But as long as they repent, the thing does not have to be addressed. It does not have to be fixed. So I'll come to your house, I'll break your windows in the summertime. Not so bad. As time goes on, winter time approaches, you start freezing. What are you gonna do? Are you come and say to me, hey, fix my windows? I'm gonna say to you, hey, I repented for that already. You got no path of healing or correcting. That's within religion. That's male dominance. And this is the carryover from earlier about the male dominance, how it divides the brain, separates the logic, the creativity, the beauty, everything that is life giver, separates that, cancels it out. And it has just the dumb male brain left. And just out of that dumb male brain thinking, oh, whatever we're doing, it's correct. Look at the males. For the last couple of thousand years in the non-native society, can you say they were correct? What is non-native history? Everything about non-native history is about war. Even your heroes are killers. All your heroes are murderers in non-native history. Okay, so let's ask somebody a question here. Just because you're the only girl here in the audience, Would you honor killers? Would you have a killer as your son's hero if you had a son? Would you warn, would you tell your son, don't respect that, that's a killer? What in all actuality, you do the exact opposite. Everybody does the exact opposite. Because, well, I don't think that you have any kids. You don't look like it. You're too young. But if you did have kids and they were in school, your kids will be exposed to the same things you were both exposed to in school. Comes along a certain time of year, they're making you, as children, sell poppies to remember a war from 100 years ago that is impossible for you to know anything about. That your parents should have protected you from those types of things. But an institution, a school, that is in charge of teaching children, taking care of the minds of young, exposes them to a war of over 100 years ago that they would never have any idea of, but they're going all selling poppies for it to remember war. Don't forget the war. Don't forget war, huh? What happens when you don't forget the war? What it happens is that you are perpetuating your enemy. And when you perpetuate your enemy, you are perpetuating your own hate, your own anger, your own war. So this is the basis that we start off from, to understand that you're in a corruption right now. Because you will never understand what's not corrupt from being in corruption. So here's an example, just to show you, we're going to give visible examples to you. If this is what we are supposed to be, let's say this is Elvis' brother, the son. Can you see that on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is what you're supposed to be, but somebody comes along and reprograms you, but what you are exposed to. So it makes you into this. Okay, I don't know if you can see this now because of the light color.
Yes, it's pale, but we can see it.
Okay, so you're supposed to be this, the first thing. So let's just number it number 1. That's what you're supposed to be. But now you're this. You're a second thing. But you think you're number 1. And so as thinking you're number 1, you're going to do everything from what you think number 1 is. You're going to do all of that. But you're actually this other thing. You're the second thing. You're not the first thing. You think you're the first. You're the second. What happens if you think you're the first, but you're second? And let's say the bell rings for something. If you think you're first, but you're second, what happens when that bell rings? What do? You go and walk into the place of first position, right? Because you think you're first. But you're not first. You're second. Where is the first one then? If I am second and I walk to the front of the line under the assumption that I am first, where is the first one? Can't be in front of me. I walk to the front of the line. Behind me. The first one will actually be behind me. So let's start counting. What comes first, number 1 or number 2? Number 1, right? Okay, so let's start counting from the reality of how I just restructured the order. I think I'm number 1. So I walk into number 1 position. But number 1's behind me. So let's start counting. 2, 1. We're counting backwards. We're not counting forwards. We are not in an evolution. You are in a devolution. Comprehend that. Here we'll go back over to the first conversation we had this morning, and just to fill you in, just to say, imagine I'm a magician. Okay, so there's a magic show. And right now we're at the point of the magic show where we need a volunteer to come down and to get hypnotized. So we need somebody to be hypnotized. Okay, so you're sitting in the audience and you say, hey, sounds like a good idea. You put your hand up. Hey, there's somebody, come on down. They walk down, they come sit here and whatever I got, a clock or a watch or something, and I'm in front of them and I'm saying some kind of mumbo jumbo to them. Great googly boogly. Now you're hypnotized. At what point in your life do you ever become aware that you are hypnotized? Never. It's impossible for you to know because you were hypnotized. So, at what point did you become hypnotized? Never mind about what you know about. When you examine that scenario, at what point does the person become hypnotized? Is it when they're sitting down here and the magician is going blah, 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 whatever? Is that the point that they become hypnotized? Or did they become hypnotized when they were walking down to the stage? Or when they were sitting in their place, when they put their hand up? The point here is that you don't even know. You can't even detect when something happens to you. How could you not be able to detect when something happens to you? You have all the kind of senses that we're supposed to have. You have the exact same senses as I do. I don't have any additional senses than what you do. And today, what we're going to look at, what I'm going to show you is something that you don't know. How could I show you something that you don't know if I have the exact same senses as you? And I'll guarantee you, both of you right now, you have a higher education than I do. I'll guarantee you. Because in order for you to be there, that means that you at least made it through grade 10. I did not make it through grade 10. So you are of a higher learning than I am. How could I teach you something that you, being exposed to learning institutions such as this, that's supposed to teach you everything? How could you not know what I'm about to show you? This is what you're going to ask yourself once I'm going to show you this. Okay, so right now, this is the part that we're in. We know that Radharani is with us, and we know nothing. Okay, so there's going to be a short time here before we're going to do this. We're going to bring the screen down so that the people in the audience, all two of them, can see and communicate with you also. But for right now, we're going to go through this process first. Okay, so for me to know, then there's no translation for anybody right now on Zoom. There's no translation. Okay, all right. So we're here talking about Grandma Moon. What do you refer to Grandma Moon as? Mama Moon. What do you refer to Grandma Moon as? The moon. How about if I called you the girl? Hey, the girl. Okay, let's ask a question of the girl. Yeah, that's very not nice, right? And I'm not going to say to him, let's ask a question of the boy. So the moon, that's who you refer to. That's your reference to Grandma Moon. Now imagine, whatever your grandma's name is, you don't call her Elizabeth. You don't call her by her first name. Yeah, you don't. The Elizabeth. You don't do that. Doesn't make sense. We do things every day that don't make sense, apparently, because you just confronted something within your own conduct that you just admitted to that doesn't make sense. I bet you that you never confronted that at any other time in your life so far. Okay, so herein then is something where a little bit of a different perception is you're starting to be exposed to. Well, it makes sense, right? Okay, so then if it makes sense, then why didn't you learn of these things in higher institutions of higher learning? Why wouldn't you learn of the highest things that make the most sense? Why wouldn't you learn of those things? But you don't. Because what we talked about earlier, what you actually learn here in these schools is only how to destroy stuff. That's all you learn. Because what is taught here in every school on earth is reverse technology. It is not technology. Now understand that reverse technology is, say, if this is the direction that things are going, and as we know, evolution has a direction, right? What direction does evolution go? Forward. Which way? Forward. Four ways?
Forward.
Forward. Yeah, forward. Do you know the direction? Yes, you do. And so do you. It is, yeah, forward. We're always moving forward, like being alive. You're not regressing. You're not getting younger. So yeah, we're always moving forward, but there is a direction. You know it. It's just that you got to be reminded of it. But what has happened, I'll show you right now, is that your brain has been compartmentalized so that you cannot draw upon all the information that you actually have intrinsic into you. You cannot call upon it because it's been blocked out through male dominance, closing out one part of your brain. And yes, you as a life giver, you are and can be male dominant, locking out your own life giver out of your own brain. Because like what you just said, what you just admitted to, this makes sense. Where that all the rest of your life, you were obviously in something that didn't make sense. That's male dominance you were in. You just got a glimpse of matrilineal. What matrilineal is it makes sense. It's logic. It's law. Male dominance, the male side of the brain, is stupid. It's war. It's idiocy. It is devolution. It's going backwards. So let me show you which way backwards is. Backwards is this way. That's backwards. You see that direction? Can you see that? Okay, so that's a circle. I don't know if you can see that on there. Okay, so there's a circle here with arrows on it, 4 arrows. It's telling you a direction. But this way. What way is this? What direction is this? Clockwise. That's reverse. Why is that? Wait a minute. When you're looking at a clock and you see clockwise and you all think clockwise, you know that time advances. So it moves forward. Like what you said. But the direction of that clock, which is man-made, rooted in the Gregorian calendar, rooted in religion, rooted in the dematrilinealizing of the human existence. So you know that what's intrinsic to you in your body, every cell in your body has a direction. What's that direction? And how's it identified? Every cell in your body is structured on something. There's a structure to it. What's the structure? Circle. Yes, from one way. If you are looking from your point of origin, or if you're looking from your destination, it's a circle. But in the actual movement of us, if he's over there, if you're my destination and you see me moving in a circle, and behind you see me moving in a circle, if you see me from the side, well, it's happening. What would you see happening? Are you actually seeing a circle? What's that line look like? Does it? Does it? Is it straight? The structure of you, what you are structured on. It looks like a circle from the front or the back. From the side, what it looks like is it looks like this. That's like a springy thing. It's like a spring. Isn't that what your DNA looks like? Isn't that the direction that your DNA grows?
Yeah.
Every DNA grows counterclockwise. Okay, so wait a minute. Doesn't this clash with what you know of when you're sitting in your class and you're looking at the clock and you're thinking time is advancing and it's going clockwise? Doesn't DNA clash with that? So what your concept of time is clashes with the very structure of your being, the fiber of your being, because time goes against it. Time is backwards. The non-native concept of time, it's not about time. Because the science today, like again, a carryover from our previous conversation, the science of today identifies really basically that time doesn't exist without physical matter. Once physical matter starts to exist, oh, there's a baby. Okay, that baby, does it stay looking the same way all the time for 100 years, 1,000 years? No, that baby changes to a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, whatever, until you look like you. So the advancement of time is only because of the creation of physical matter. When physical matter started to manifest, this is what created the concept of time. So time on its own is not a reality. Time is a duality. The same way that in your head, in your brain, two hemispheres in your brain work in symbiosis together at the same exact time together. Two things, not just one. And again, within the human brain, the female side of the brain is where all things start from, all positive things. The male side of the brain is where all stupidity is, where all corruption is, where bombs are, where nuclear power is, where pollution, rush hour traffic, construction in Montreal, that's what, all of it. It all comes from that male dominant side of the brain. It all originates from there. Because the logic is, in the first place, when we listen to our mother, when she is the one directing us in this world, and we'll go back again. Oh, I erased them. We'll go back to the bear of how mother looks after her young. Honor your mother, because your mother will give her life for you. We look at the bear. Fact is that no males are allowed around the children. No males. The mother bear will never allow a male bear, unless it's one of her others. Maybe she's already got a bear with her cub. Maybe some are known to stay with the mother close to some 2 to 3 years. So within that time, it's possible that she has another litter. So that's the only way she would allow another male, a male around her cubs. But that's highly unlikely anyways. So bottom line is, mother bear never allows a male around her cubs. And to go back into a carryover from the previous, bear is the medicine. So mama is the medicine. Mama is the medicine that you know is going to protect and take care of you, love you through anything. You can do anything. Mom will love you. And when I say anything, it's not about being bad or being, not about being bad. It's about, when I say do anything, you can get away with doing anything to your mother. She will put up with it. Think about that. And then think about, what have you subjected your mother to? How many times have you made your mother cry? How many times have you made your mother hurt? Have you made your mother proud as many times as you've done these negatives to her? You don't even know. You can't even count the times because you're unaware of how many times you made your mother cry. How many times you made her hurt, wishing that you wouldn't be conducting yourself the way that you are. No matter how good you are in this world today, you know your mom has taught that many times. Maybe just, especially for girls today, maybe just worrying about you when you're going out with your friends, because mom knows what it's really like. You don't know what it's like. When you're young, you think you know, until you find out the hard way and that something terrible happens to you and you wish that somebody older would have told you or would have guided you through life. When you're, right now to me, you look like you're maybe around 22 at the most. So when you're in about another 15 years, you're going to be looking, but even just 10 years, you're going to look back at when I was 22 and you're going to think, how could I have been that brainless even? You're probably already thinking that of things just a couple of years ago. Well, thinking your whole life. The things that you don't know where you are right now, the judgments that must be based on positive and law, that you don't have that structure. So that means wrong judgments are being made. And when you get older, then you know, man, I wish I had somebody to tell me. You know who you're wishing for? You're wishing for grandmother. That's what you're wishing for. A mother of a nation that no matter what is going to tell you, this is what you got to do. This is wrong what you're doing, is going to be your mother. And that's all when we give a Honda Gari Wadekwa. Understand that when we say that all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, they carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. Today, we don't do this. It's words. It sounds good. You know all those words. You know what it means. You know, mother, you know, respect, honor, even life giver. You can deduce what that means, kind of. Until we got into a conversation and we explained it to you, and you'll find out that maybe your perception is this much like the tip of the iceberg to find out that there's a whole iceberg beneath the surface. 90% of it that you cannot see. And so, mother is at the root of all things. She is within the council process, identified within the council process. That within all peoples on earth, the collective council process is rooted within our cellular identity. So our collective decision-making process is based on turtle, wolf, and bear. Well, I had them drawn there at least. Okay, so turtle, wolf, and bear, because these are the elements within creation. Again, going back to what you know as protons, neutrons, and electrons, forget it. Don't ever think that again. Know it and understand what those things are on a scientific level and just carry over the name being proton, neutron, turtle, wolf, and bear. And you will see traits. And you will start to see, guarantee, you will start to see turtle, wolf, and bear in that tree. You'll see it in the ground. You'll feel it in the ground that you're walking upon in different places. You'll know that you're on turtle. Hey, this is more wolf. This one is bear. With every step that you take, you'll be able to know that. Because this is the reality, right? Isn't everything within creation based on that sacred tree? We all know that you got, according to science, approximately 38 trillion cells in your body. Now think about this. If there wasn't no common law between them, what holds your cells together? Because look at you. What holds your cells together? Nothing now, because the ties that bind are broken. Because you're here, your family's over there, your loved ones are over there. You're not where you are supposed to be. You are somewhere else. Now let's think, if I'm an elbow, and I just say, well, I want to go on vacation. Okay, well, to go on vacation means I'm going to leave my station. So maybe I'm an elbow and I'm going on vacation and I'm going to go to the middle of my forearm. What does an elbow do? An elbow only does this. That's it. So imagine if it traveled to the middle of my forearm. What's it going to do there? It can't bend. If it did, it would break and it would destroy. So it means then its energy, what it's designed for, it's gone. It can't work. This is the reason for human displacement. You don't know it. In the non-native world, you have no clue of this. There is a syndrome that you're a victim of. It is called spiritual physical displacement syndrome. Again, this is when if you're an elbow that just bends like this, and something physically comes along and takes you and puts you in the middle of the arm. You have physically been displaced, physical displacement. Now, when you're thinking of the motion that that elbow does, this thing, that's the spirit of it. Now, when it's physically displaced over there and the spirit wants to bend and it can't, it's spiritual displacement. When you got spiritual displacement, it's you don't know what the hell is going on with you. You don't know what's wrong. You just can't get along with anybody. You're upset. You're this, you're that. You don't know why. Because you're hypnotized. You can't know when you were hypnotized and you just don't know what goes along, what's the stuff that happens to you when you're hypnotized. You just don't know. Okay, so you've been hypnotized into thinking a certain thing about Grandma Moon to the point of where she's not grandma anymore. Just think of that. You're walking by your grandma. You're walking by your grandma. There's not a hey grandma. There's not a recognition of grandma. When did you talk to your grandmother? Last. Your physical grandmother. If you're lucky enough to, still fortunate enough to have your grandmother, if you're not, sorry, but when's the last time you spoke to your grandmother? Either one of you.
3 months ago. Maybe one month.
Are you happy with that? I would not be happy with that. Because I'm a matrilineal guy. I was born and raised with my mothers, my aunts, my grandmothers. And when I say mothers, because I am a product of 9 mothers. I am a man with 9 mothers. I know you can't comprehend that right now. You can't understand what that means because you all know that you can only be born of one mother. That's what you know. The people here of Turtle Island were able to pull our heads out of our rear ends, the dark ages of war. Piss poor examples of males. You can't call them men. Anybody who fights in school, what are they called? Bullies. Are bullies smart people? They're idiots, right? In some cases, you might say, well, feel sorry for them because of conditions or whatever, you know. But the reality is, anyone who fights is a stupid person. Stupid because no brain function has worked. They've got no mental, no intellectual capacity to deal with the circumstance of what makes them do that. So, you know what they do? They do that. And so we know that when we're kids in school, we know that's bad. That's wrong. We identify it. Bullying. You're not supposed to bully. Wait a minute. As soon as they get out of school, even in school, they're conscripted into armies, militaries, to go and kill people. Isn't that much worse than punching somebody's face and being a bully? No, you're being a bully on a mega scale. That's beyond your capability. It only comes about through a corrupted collective that has a standing army. And women do not have that. Who has that? Piss poor examples of guys. They got that. And they love it. Because they're in control. And when they come home to you women who are subjected to that, you comply with them. And you have children with them. You know what they are called? You know what those children are? There is an era in time after World War II. You know, you've heard of the term baby boomers, right? You think that's the proper term? That's not the proper term. You could identify by stating the facts of who and where these people came from. You know what they are? They're war babies. They're not baby boomers. Maybe only in the sense of that they're war babies and they make bombs that go boom. So they're baby boomers in that sense. But they're war babies. So when women have children with men who come, or piss poor examples of men that come home from war, without you having a proper ceremony to take that garbage off of them, these men come back into your society with all of the insanity of war. And always, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, maybe you have experienced this. Do any of you know anybody that's been in the military? No? Okay, well, if you ever happen to know somebody in the military and you're in a conversation, they're always the smartest people, huh? They always know. They know what they're talking about. You don't know jack crap about what you're talking about. About politics and world issues, soldiers know more than you do. Is that true? They're the stupidest. They can't know anything. They walk to their deaths. They go to kill people who somebody else tells them, go and kill this person. I guarantee that anybody who was ever in war never came up with the concept themselves of, I'm going to get up this morning, I'm going to go over to Japan, and I'm going to go drop a bomb on a bunch of Japanese people. They didn't come up with that concept on their own. On their own, they would be at home. You know what they would be doing? In the right way, they would be making love. Now understand the concept here. When I said that, you automatically thought the exact opposite of what I'm talking about. Because this is what you have learned. I am making love right now. You associate with making love as an act of sex. It's not. To be in love, imagine this, think about this. Women in cages. Man comes along, he's got the key for the cage. He opens up this cage, having sex with that woman. He's making love with her. He's raping her. The concept, the perception would be, oh, look, from far away, but they're having sex. Two people are having sex. When we think two people having sex, automatically it goes, oh, two people are in love. Get a little closer, and you hear her screaming. And you hear her saying, get the hell off of me. And you hear her yelling, stop. That is not two people having sex. That is rape. In your world, your concepts of everything is flipped upside down. Absolutely everything. And the bottom line here to prove this is that, hey, wait a minute, the native people of Turtle Island to the white peoples of Europe are the stupidest people ever. We're the stupidest people because when all your ancestors came here and hopped off the pirate ship and they look at this land, they didn't see beauty. They didn't see humans working to beautify and to create this. They seen humans sitting around being so lazy and saying, hey, look, they're letting it all go to waste. How could you have the perception that somebody sitting there not chopping down trees is allowing those trees to go to waste? How is that perception there? You can only have that perception like that by having a bunch of garbage added to your head to get you to think the nonsense. Okay, so let's break out of the nonsense. Let's go into the moon teachings right away. Because we still got to address Radharani.
So you know it's 5,
It's 5 right now. What time we got till?
6.
6. Okay, so moon teachings keep me within 20 minutes then. Okay, so this is Mother Earth. I'll put Mother Earth right in the center. Oh. Skills aren't that good. Okay, can you see that on the screen? Okay, so Mama Earth, just to kind of make it look like this is Turtle Island. Okay, so hopefully you can all make that up. What do you you identify this? Can you tell what this landmass is? What do you identify it as? Yeah. See right here? Just right here. Observe within your own self what you have been taught. You say North America, what you come from, Turtle Island. You are Turtle Island. I'm just gonna guess that you don't come from Turtle Island, okay? You call it Turtle Island. Because of you've been hearing me say Turtle Island. Because I know the way that you said it, and it's kind of like uncertain. You're kind of like, okay, you're in the groove of what's being talked about. But is it true? Just because we're saying it, I could say, this is my right hand. And you'll say, okay, that's your right hand. It's not my right hand. Unless you're just looking from your perception and you see it looks like it's on my right, but that's my actual left. So you can see how it's confusing that something familiar may look like it's right when it's actually left. This is how trickery, mind manipulation happens. It's got to be rooted. All lies got to be rooted at least 10% in truth, so that you can manipulate the other 90% to get you to do whatever, get you off your track. Okay, so this is Turtle Island because of a whole set of knowledge behind this. So at the end, I just say like, of you, you're a mass of 38 trillion cells. It's true, but the reality of how you've come to be in the current state that you are, knowing that one cell on its own connected to another cell and another, and then 38 trillion of them to make you up, that tells you that every one of them has something locking them together. Every one of them has some kind of communication between each other. Because otherwise, your cells might just fall out of your body. You gotta be, it's not nice here, maybe let's go on vacation. Let's go somewhere else. What is this concept of going somewhere else? Where does it come from? Where does the elbow get the idea to go to the middle of the arm? Because the elbow has purpose. Doing what it does, where it is. There's purpose. Over here, there's no purpose. It's just an out of place, displaced, spiritual, physical displacement. And for what purpose then? Everything has energy, right? Every cell has energy. So if you displace them and they can't do what their energy is, what's happening to the energy? It's going somewhere, right? Where? Here's the example. Elbow moves out of elbow, goes over here to middle arm. That energy of doing this, just think of all that atomic energy inside, the thermonuclear reactions in each cell to make muscles do this. Think of that energy. And now it's in the middle of your arm. It's energy. What happens to it? It is not lost. It's misused in that place because it's out of place. So it becomes a negative energy right there. And this is how, like we again, a carryover from the nuclear atomic, this is how it's misplaced energy. How they have broken apart the grandmother from the mother and the granddaughter and used their energy. And so in all things to understand, you always got to identify female, because there's a female and a male side to all things. And so when we understand that here, like even let's say we're, I don't know, mixing cement, and is this the female energy or the male energy? It's your interaction with it that's going to make it conducive. Your understanding of it that will be conducive. So either it's going to be something that's going to serve a purpose that's conducive to the primary, which is life giver, mothers, or else it's going to be against it. It's as simple as that. If your energy is not conducive to the primary, meaning the life giver, then your energy is anti-life giver. It's going to use as a negative. A negative energy like atomic energy. Make an atomic bomb. Okay, so Mother Earth here, just to give you an example, get you up to date here of what Mother Earth is. Mother Earth is nothing but a drop of water. Just a drop of water, same way you are. And so there was one drop of water first. And then another drop, drops of water. Until the point of where so much water at the center becomes such a point of pressure, of density, that it collapses onto itself. And when it collapses onto itself, there's a thermonuclear reaction. When there's a thermonuclear reaction in water, you know what happens? Fire is created out of water. You know where fire comes from? It comes from water. But science will not tell you this. But you tell me that this is not true, that at the bottom of the ocean, and that's just here on Mother Earth, the bottom of the ocean, that the, what do they call it? The, not gravity's, atmospheric pressure. That, as you know, in water, you dive down every 6 feet, you get atmospheric pressure. That's one atmosphere. Maybe 4 feet, 4 or 6 feet. This is when if you're diving down and you feel the pressure in your head, you know, you hold your nose and blow out, it will release the pressure. So you even know that's true within a 10 feet from the surface of the water pressure. Dive down 20 feet. Oh, it'll get really too much pressure in your head. You'll have to compensate with oxygen, something else. And even, what do they put in the oxygen bottles when you go deep sea diving? I think helium or hydrogen? No, something else anyways, for you to be able to deal with that stuff. So you know that there's pressures. You know that that submarine that just went down, I don't know when it was now, a few months back, to go and look at the Titanic and collapsed onto itself. Why did it collapse? Too much pressure from what? Was there 1,000 elephants standing on top of it? Too much pressure from what? From water. Yeah. So that's just here on Earth, knowing that, well, from the bottom of the ocean, where the floor is of the Earth, where the physical matter stops and it turns to water. Well, we know that the depth, deepest depth here on Earth is about, I think it's about 17,000 feet, the Marianas Trench. Anyways, so you know it'll collapse 8-inch thick steel walls. So imagine more Earths, how much that pressure would be. Okay, so water, pressure, density. At density, collapses onto itself, thermonuclear reaction. You tell me that's not true. Do the research yourself, ask science. You could ask AI. Ask AI if it's true. But hey, but water pressure at certain point, will it collapse onto itself? Look it up yourself. Once it does, collapses, that thermonuclear reaction not only causes fire on the inside, of course, for fire to be on the inside, thermonuclear reaction, it means there's a crust forming around, a protective layer from all that pressure. And when this happens, we're talking about on the levels of Mother Earth right now, but you're also talking about the duplicate of every single cell in the waterverse, not the universe, the waterverse. Because you come from a waterverse. You were put together in water. You were made out of water. In the water of your mother's belly, the amniotic fluid. So this is the waterverse. We are in the belly of Sky Woman. You are in the body of a larger being. You know you have all the facts to affirm this. But we think from male dominance, a limited perspective. And it's only me. And it's me, and everything that I look at, it's all there for me to exploit, to use, to destroy male dominance. But matrilineal, we'll show you this. That in that thermonuclear reaction, when this happens, just like a cell, an atom being activated, even science identifies the stuff of an atom is there until it starts to jostle. And once that atom starts to jostle, gyrate, what happens in a thermonuclear reaction is it activates the cell and it starts to rotate. Which way does it rotate? Counterclockwise. Like Mother Earth, counterclockwise. Wait a minute. What if you're standing on this side and looking? Then it's not counterclockwise. Then you gotta know top and bottom. The moment that there's a thermonuclear reaction in a water droplet, first off, in a water droplet, there is no top or bottom or anything. It's just there. But the moment there's a thermonuclear reaction and that thing starts to rotate, it creates two access points. As we know on Mother Earth, they call it north and south. But what's the reality of those two access points? A magnetic field, right? A magnetic field isn't created out of something that is dead and dormant. It's created out of, once there's thermonuclear reaction, it activates, it starts rotating in a counterclockwise direction. It creates these two poles. And once there's two poles in a body of water, a mass like this, then it means that the mass that is created at the center, the stuff that's hardening, it only has one way out. Not these two ways, only one way. And we know where that is. That's the South Pole, right? Are you there understanding that the Earth's magnetic field comes out of the South Pole? You know that? Did you know that before? The Earth's magnetic pole field comes out of the South Pole, it travels to the north, and it goes back in. And what it does is it comes right all the way through and it comes back out this way again. You know what we are? That's the same as a 3D printer. Because a 3D printer lays down its first, whatever it's making, first there, and then it knows because it's got a computer brain, and it knows where to just put this, so it knows where it's got to put the next thing. And if the next thing, if it's leaning over a little to the left, then it knows each time it's got to go a little bit more this way and this way. We're a 3D printer. And you know what's being printed? Us, our life, our existence. And it's based within a reality of how it took place. How it took place is the law. So let's just say that you want to build a brick building. And if you don't know how to build brick buildings, you come along and you put one brick on top of another, on top of another. How far will you get before what will happen there? It'll fall, right? Because the law of a brick building is not to go one brick on top of another. If you do that, it's going to fall. So it tells you the law of how to build a brick building is you butt them up against each other and then you overlap them. It becomes law. So the physical process of how it happened becomes law. And the reality of a brick building, you can't do it any other way. Oh yeah, maybe you can turn them on their side or this, give it a little bit of diversity. But you cannot be at any variance to the overlapping process. We live the overlapping process. What is it? Where are we overlapped? We are overlapped multidimensionally through process of us just coming into being. You are overlapped through your mother, your father, your grandparents. You are living things right now of your grandparents. You are doing things right now that your grandchildren are going to be living. We are overlapped this way. Now, when we don't know and don't understand we're overlapped, the things that you're doing right now that are going to affect your grandchildren, would you still be doing them? If you knew that they were going to affect your grandchildren in a negative way, but you have to have this vision, this cosmovision, if you will, of how to live proper in this world. Because this world has a law. Again, we go back to all the cells in your body. There's a law, right? Otherwise, your cells would just you'd become jello or something, and your cells would just start to drift away. You are held together by your law. Some people lose their law, and they're no longer held together. They separate themselves. A lot of people do that with a shotgun or something or a knife. They separate themselves, separate their spirit from their physical body. And this is a trauma that has been inflicted upon the world because, again, if you're an elbow and you're happy doing this, you know, this is the way you're living, and then all of a sudden it comes and somebody comes and takes you and puts you over here and you got no purpose, what the hell are you going to do in this world? What can you do? You become anxious, you become nervous, you become, what's the purpose? So many people in this world like this today because of physical spiritual displacement syndrome that institutions such as this will never identify. They can't identify it. It's beyond their intellectual capacities because they are stuck in one dimension where you are a multi-dimensional being. You live again in the world of your grandparents without you even knowing the things that your grandparents done, what happened collectively, you're living it right now. So that's a dimension carried over from a time before you were even born. You don't know it, but it's the reality. I use that in my Astoa Gula, in my song to Untitled, in my song to creation. And the reason why I use this, because of my grandparents, and their grandparents, and their grandparents, and theirs. Right back to the first original cell. You have forgotten this. It's been killed out of you.
Minutes for 20 minutes.
5 minutes for the 20 minutes, okay. Oh, there's always so much to talk about. Okay, so Grandma Moon then is over here. I don't know, can you see that? No. Oh, I'll have to keep using the same color. Grandma Moon and eldest brother, the son, is way over here. This is big son. Okay, so right now, sun, moon, earth. Who can identify what moon phase we're in this picture? When the moon is in between you and the sun. There you go. Just think if you were on The Price is Right now and just to counterbid him. If he said full moon, what else could you say? Okay, in French, we got translation. Hey, hey, hey.
No, I'm translating what he said. It's a people. Well, we don't see nothing and it's all black.
No. The non-negative world calls it new moon.
La nouvelle lune, là, c'est comme ça qu'il l'appelle, là.
It's no moon because you can't see the moon.
La...
Okay, so right here, the moon in between the sun and the earth is no moon. Or what the rest of the world knows as new moon. Okay, so what does that mean when the moon is over here? What moon is it? Okay, can you think of anything that would make a difference? Physical difference, or what would be the physical differences between the moon being over here in no moon and being over here in full? Can you think of any physical differences between the two? And
it's cold.
so wait a minute. If you're further from the sun, you're cold. So if you're closer, you're warm. Physical differences. Now, keep in mind that the moon is like a globe also. So when it's in no moon phase, only half of the moon is facing the sun. So only half of the moon is getting all of those heat rings, and that side is getting super hot in no moon. Because the difference between say like not the circumference, what do you call this? To outside of the rotation of the moon. The distance is approximately 800,000 kilometers.
You tell me.
Anyways, it's a great distance. So just think of this. You're standing next to a fire. You move 5 feet away from it, it's gonna be super hot. Move 15 feet away from it. What's the difference? It's not super hot, right? Actually bordering on getting cold. Okay, so in the full moon, the face that we're gonna divide this here for understanding. The moon has side 1, the side that we always look at, because the moon never rotates. It does never rotate like this. We always see just one face. This is what's called being tidally locked. And what locks Grandma Moon to Mother Earth is something that you have never been told: an umbilical cord. The same way that a baby is attached to a mother. Okay, so in the new moon phase, side 1 is facing the Earth. So it's like the back is getting cold. The back is getting hot. The face is relatively cold compared to the back. But when you come over here, the face is now exposed to the sun because it does not rotate. So now the back that was hot over here, think, what happens to you? What's the physical properties of when you get hot? What happens to you? Hey, sweating. How do you sweat? What has to happen in order for sweat to come out of you? There's water in your body, but right now, look, there's no water coming out of my body. But if I was sweating, how? What happens physically to the body for water to come out of the body? When you get hot, your pores open. So when your pores open, the water that's inside of you leaks out. Any other time, look, there's no water leaking out of me right now. But on a super hot day, you know it's leaking out of you from everywhere. It's got to your forehead, your nose, everywhere. So the physical properties of being exposed to a fire at my back means my back is hot, my back getting hot, the pores open, I get sweaty. And when I sweat, the water comes out of me. Okay. When I'm over here, let's make sure that side 2 is the side in no moon that's facing the Earth. It's the side furthest away from the Earth. Okay, so over here, side 2, that was hot over here, is now cold over here. And we know that when we're cold, then the pores close up. And when pores close up, what happens to you when you get cold? What happens to things when they get cold? Shrink. They get smaller. When they get hot, they expand. So here's something you were never told, ever. Now you got to disprove this with science, and you're going to find out you cannot disprove this. When it's in no moon phase, what's happening to Grandma Moon is she is expanding. Expanding. Never mind the way I wrote. And when she's over here, she's shrinking. What does that sound like to you? Expansion and contraction. What does this sound like to you? What can you relate to that process? Let me give you a hint. You all know this song. Mama, gave you this sound. You hear those two beats, right? Two, but are they different? They're exactly the same. Doing two different things. Because they're exactly the same, but you can tell the difference. Because it's boom, 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 boom. And when it's boom, 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 you know that one boom is the starter of something and the other boom is the finisher of it. So, expansion. Can you hear your heart expanding? Wait a minute. If one of the girls went and put their ear, they'll be able to hear your heart expanding, right? Will they be able to hear it contracting? Yes, because it's the same sound. Expanding is a boom. Contracting is a boom. And when your heart pumps out the blood, it's boom. And when the heart pumps the blood back in, it's boom. So here's what happens here. When Grandma Moon is over here and she's getting hot or heated up and her pores are opening, because she's just like you and me. She's a ball of water. Her pores open up, sweat comes out. There's something else happening here. Don't forget, there's the sacred three in action here. What is always coming from the sun towards us? Heat. Heat, yeah. What else?
Light.
Light. Okay, yeah. They say that electrons are always leaving the sun, and this is what they attribute to solar winds. They call solar winds. Okay, so think solar winds. On a windy day, what happens to you if you went outside and you spit in the wind? It's right back on you, right? But if the wind was going that way and you spit that way, it's going to carry your spit a long distance, right? Okay, so what's happening all the time is solar winds are a reality. And Mother Earth and Grandma Moon are in that reality all the time. You don't know it, you don't think about it. But solar wind, her back is to the sun, her back is getting hot, her pores are opening up, sweat is coming out, and it gets caught in the solar winds. So from here, in this phase, when this is happening, where is that water going to? Where would that sweat that's leaving Mother Earth, getting caught in the solar winds, where would it go to? Knowing this is the sun here, solar winds are going this way. So when she's heating up here and releasing water, where would that water go to? Straight to the earth. Keeping the body alive. Wait a minute, doesn't the moon, isn't the whole world aware that the moon regulates the earth's tides? You know that, right? Regulates the earth's tides. What is the tide? It's water, right? It moves water. It's the water mover. In our language, the heart, whatever that means, doesn't mean anything. We call it the blood mover. It's what moves the blood. So here, what moves the blood is this process of being heated up and getting hot, pores open, water comes out, solar winds catch it, brings that water right back to Mother Earth. Now, you know that on many mornings or evenings, you have seen at some point mist, right? You wake up early in the morning, the ground's wet, and you see maybe mist rising, or in the evening, maybe you're driving through fog. This tells you something very fundamental here. That water is constantly evaporating from our Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is exposed to the sun all the time also. And some point of the year, even if it's cold over here, wherever it's warm over here, it's going to be doing that. So no matter what, it's happening to the earth all the time. So the earth is emitting also water. So when Grandma Moon releases the water to the earth, just like your body, When your heart releases water and blood into your body becomes rejuvenated. You're able to exist for another couple of minutes till the next pump. Well, not even a couple of minutes. You could really just say, you can really only last for a couple of seconds. Because if your heart stopped beating right now, boom, 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 you know, you might live for, I don't know, a minute. You'll be conscious for that time. So anyways, okay, new moon phase, you know that she's turning around. She's going around Mother Earth like this. So basically it looks like this. If this is the Earth right here, no, you can't see it, but well, let me do this. Okay, you can see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3D, three-dimensional image here. So Grandma Moon, hot, sweaty, water back to the earth. Oh, she's going like this. 28 steps she takes. Well, actually, to go around. To get here, she takes 14. To get to the quarter, she takes 7. Over here, it's 21. Full thing, 28 days, approximately, give or take, it changes. You know that because on your moons that you experience when Grandma visits you, it's not always the same. And that's the beauty of creation. Not every car that rolls off the production line looks the same. Not every human. But every car that rolls off the production line, exact same. No difference. No diversity. Nothing beautiful about that. What is beautiful about every life giver in this world looking different? That's what's beautiful. It's diversity. It's all the flowers all at once blooming. And so she does this. Now keep in mind, sun is there. So I'm hot over here. What's happening? I'm getting colder over here, but this part's getting hotter. You know what you're seeing? They're telling you that there is no rotation in Grandma Moon. It's a lie. You have been lied to. There is a rotation in Grandma Moon. You just can't see it. You gotta know it. It's like when you go to see your grandmother. Well, she could be there all the time. But if you don't go and visit her, she's not going to tell you anything. She's not going to shower you with love. She's not going to bake you cookies. She's not going to do all the beautiful things of being a grandmother, what she does for you. You gotta make that bridge to her. She's there. You gotta cross that bridge. So, she's getting the heat rotation. The heat rotation is that when this ball is going around like this, and it's getting cold over here and heat over here, what's the rotation? It's an internal heat signature. You can't see it. So you got to think of something here. When you're on a treadmill and a mouse is on a treadmill and the treadmill's turning that way, what direction is the mouse going? Whichever direction the treadmill is going, which direction is the mouse going? Opposite. That's an internal power and energy that if you're just looking at a treadmill going around and you can't see the mouse or whatever it is, you're just going to see treadmill spinning, rotating. Oh, it rotates. There is an impetus to it, something that makes it happen. And that's the heat signature inside of Grandma Moon. As she rotates, the heat in different places causes different reactions in her that causes this then to happen. That when she's here in full moon, her face is getting hot, the face that we see all the time, and her pores are opening up. But remember, Mother Earth is exposed to the heat and water is leaving her. And the water is going direct back to her when she's in full moon phase and her face is heated up, pores are heated, opened up, she receives it back. So what this is your first heartbeat. It pumped the blood out. It expanded. And then it came over here and it contracted. And it pumped the blood back in. And then as it keeps going around, continuing that process, here's where you learn of centrifugal force. That, you know, when you were a kid, somebody spun you around by the hands and caused your legs to raise up like this, and you're going, it was so fun, right? That's fun when you were a kid. Try to do it when you're older, you might throw up. Once I got older, my head couldn't handle that kind of stuff. But anyways, centrifugal force. So you're thinking, water comes out of her back, and then she's getting over here, moon opens up here to receive. You got to think centrifugal force at the same time. Because she's a body that's spinning approximately, I think it's about 10,000 miles an hour. So if you're going like this, even right now, like this, if I had a string, maybe I would spin it slow enough that you might see it going around just on the floor like this. But if I speed up, you're going to watch it going straight out. It'll be straight to the side. Centrifugal force means that when you were a kid and you were being spun around, everything in your body was going to your feet. And if you kept getting spun around, eventually you would die because all the blood would go to your feet. So, as she's spinning around, the nuclear reaction from this oldest brother to son, heating up. What you're looking at and what you got to observe is temperatures, densities, and pressures. You will think that density causes pressure, which causes heat. You will think that temperature causes heat, which causes density. Hey, they all cause each other. Which one caused the other first? Chicken or the egg, yeah? You know which one? Turtle. Proton, neutrons, electrons, turtle, wolf, bear, the first being in creation. You don't know it because it's been stolen from. We know it. We have creation story. It's turtle. That's how we are on Turtle Island. And that's where you take root in the womb of your mother when you are an egg in Turtle Island. And you are in the larger body of the largest mother, Skywoman. We are in a great body. And just like the cells within your body, they're bound by the realities of the physical world. As are you. Until you get to a point of critical mass, where all these cells are bound by the same thing, they all have the same law, the same knowledge, but they get to a point of you put 38 trillion of them together and all of a sudden there's, boom, there's me. And I've got a collective consciousness, but I view it as it's me and I'm first. But I am not that. I am matrilineal. I follow the path of my mother, the path of reality. I am science. This is natural science. What the non-native has is reverse technology. They know there's a tree. They don't know how to be conducive to it. They know how to tear it down. So you have knowledge of that thing, but only how to destroy it. You don't know how to be conducive to it. Because you are not what you are supposed to be in the body. If you're a cell in the body, which you are basically one of 8 billion people on the body of Mother Earth, what are the cells in your body supposed to do? They're nerve endings, right? They're supposed to gather information and send it back to the central point of consciousness. You know what this means? Every cell in your body has direct connection to what you might call God. Every cell does. Because just like in your body, if I was getting pinched right now on my big toe right here, it would tell me. An information would be sent from my big toe, just that one tiny little spot. If there was a little needle or pin poking me, that one tiny little spot would make it right to my central point of consciousness in a split second. And when you think of the vastness of 38 trillion cells, that's the difference of going across the waterverse in an instance. We are in Mama's body. We are in the great body of Skywoman. This is the great centrifuge, the great spiral of creation. This is where we live. Look at the pictures that non-native science shows you. Doesn't it show you a spiral? Isn't that spiral? Go counterclockwise. Isn't that the direction of the DNA within our very cells? But yet we're in that big thing. But that big thing is what it takes for us to exist, but that big thing does not exist without us. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Turtle. The turtle egg came first. So there is nothing that is not knowable. In the non-native world, you have to discover things. What is there to discover? We are the journey of life, of creation. We are bazillion years of everything. We are the current up-to-date knowledge of it because, well, the Earth sends her magnetic field through us every day. In the Earth's magnetic field. And what is a magnetic field? Hey, wait a minute. Magnetic field, tape, that kind of stuff. Doesn't that record stuff? Yes, it records stuff. It goes through this process from leaving here, coming in here, and filters through us. We are of Sohirna. We are not of a thing called Montreal or Quebec or UQAM or Canada or Earth. We are of Sky Woman. This is us. We are a force of nature because within each of us, in every cell, we have turtle, wolf, and bear. We have thermonuclear reaction inside of every cell of us, enough for us to be able to push our mama's voice into the world and to conclude her work, to complete it. If you are not doing that, what are you doing? What is it that you are doing? You are doing the opposite of that. And that is the direction of creation. And so the very first beginnings of life here is coming from no moon position. This is where we started in one dimension. We started one dimension. And you think, well, right now that we're three dimensions, and that's where we are. You are seriously lacking of information if you limit yourself to three dimensions. Because as an individual, you might be bound there by three dimensions. Yes. But when you put your power together in collective consciousness, in proper council process, you find that humans can do anything, right? Supposedly, we can send people to the moon. Supposedly, we can send Voyager spacecraft even outside of our solar cell. Supposedly, we create nuclear power. We can do anything when we put our minds together. Instead, what we are doing is male dominance, destroying everything because we don't have basic common understanding of who and what we are. We, the world, is in an identity crisis. They don't know what they are. And so they are suicidal. The entire world is suicidal and we are on the verge. You tell me. Don't let me tell you. You tell me. Ask what time it is. Speak to your grandma and ask her, Grandma, what time is it? What should I do in this time? Because your grandma is going to tell you. When you communicate with her, Grandma will communicate with you directly. You know this as a woman. Grandma has visited you maybe since you were 12 years old. And nobody told you, nobody prepared you. They didn't have this great ceremony to usher you into your role as life giver. They just kept you as girl and told you that, hey, your moon, your grandma come and visit you is a period. And it's a negative to the point of where male dominance has created tiny little pills to give to you that you can be free of your period. Freedom. Yeehaw. Freedom of what? Freedom from being a life giver. What do you want to be? What else could you be? What would you want to be other than what you are? A life giver. In the world is a force of nature, a force of creation. But on your own, you are limited into just those three dimensions. Together, when you get into collective council, we can do anything. This rises us to the fourth dimension that you, on your own, will never experience. It's the highest level of being, the highest state of being here on our Mother Earth. Now, when you are here in this garden, you are charged with taking care of it, with protecting it. And to do that, you got to understand it. And to understand it means that when you see somebody else who doesn't understand it and who's screwing it up, that it's your responsibility to address them. It's your responsibility to show them the truth. Expose them to something that they don't understand what they're doing. So right now, I don't know if you're going to understand what you're doing next time you're going to see Grandma Moon in the sky. If you're going to talk to Grandma. The same way that you would talk to your grandmother. Pick up a phone and call her. Because Grandma Moon is always in direct interaction with you. Always. I challenge you to find that out. Grandma Moon will respond to you. So ask her, what time is it, Grandma? What time am I in? What should I do now? Because when Grandma tells you, you are in an emergency, then you're going to have to take immediate action. That's so immediate that you got to go back 30 years in the past and correct things that happened even before you were born. Can you do that? You shake your head no. You are defeated before you even get started. When you know it's your responsibility. If there's negatives in the world, who's going to fix it? Are you going to wait for guys to fix it? Do you think guys are ever going to fix anything? Are girls? I'll question that. I don't think girls are going to do a damn thing based on what they show me. But life givers, they will take their responsibility. So you must rise out of this perception of girl and rise to become life giver. And the only way to do that is you got to have males who are compliant with that. Good luck. Good luck trying to find that. Because it only exists one place on earth now. And wherever that is, I can't tell you. You will have to find it yourself. Because this is what life is about. It's about finding your way. And think of that. Is it the right way or the wrong way? So to find the right way, you need to have the right map to where you're going. This is the map. Grandma Moon is the map. The turtle, where's it? The turtle is the map. I can read this turtle to you all day long. When I use this turtle in my Stoa, I know precisely where I am, when I am, where I am. I know at that point precisely the things that I gotta do. This is what a man is. A man isn't that he rises when he wants. No, a man rises when he has to, when he is told by creation. You gotta be able to read creation. You are sitting waiting. Rise. Be a life protector. Rise to be a true man. A true man that's going to always take into consideration her before she even ever knows that you took her into consideration. When you do this, you will never get a thank you. You will never get a, oh, gee, yeah, I noticed that you've done that, an acknowledgement. Never. When you put the toilet bowl seat down, they're never going to say, hey, thank you for putting the toilet bowl seat down. It's just going to be that they're happy. So that's how you realize your manhood, when they are happy around you. That's when you are a life protector. If women can feel safe around you, protected around you, that's what it's supposed to be. Not the way that the corruption is. And it's because of that the world doesn't know their origins, don't know what they are, don't know the functions within their own bodies. Don't know the creation process. What's your purpose? Is your purpose to go to school? Is your purpose to go to school and learn how to chop down trees, be a bulldozer operator, a rocket scientist, everything? That's all part and parcel to the destruction of our Mother Earth. Is that your purpose? What is it? Tell this institution what your purpose is, because you cannot realize your purpose in this institution. Can you? So tell the institution, you identify. This is my purpose. Accommodate it. I want to know this. I don't want to know all the poison that you're teaching me that teaches me how to destroy the rivers, teaches me how to destroy the air, teaches me how to hate other people, waging war on them. It is time for you to pull your head out of the dark ages of war and rise like we done here over 2,000 years ago. This symbol that you see, the Five Nations, Ayahuasca Wampum Belt, this is the only symbol of peace that the world has ever known. I challenge anyone on earth to show me a symbol of peace where it has actually been accomplished. Show me one symbol that you associate with peace. Either one of you. There it is, guaranteed. You know what that symbol is? Who created that? You should know because you're using it. Winston Churchill created that out of World War II, and you know what it means? That's V for victory. Is there peace in victory? No, because you got to wage war to get it. This is a lie. You think this is peace for some reason. It's just been manufactured within you because of the hippie movement. A bunch of hippies who really didn't do jack about anything anyways. They all just pulled themselves out of the reality and said, oh, this reality is crazy, which they were true, but they just allowed the craziness to continue. So there were a bunch of people who said, down with everything, and that's exactly what they did. They went down. And that's why you think, because of hippies, that this is a peace symbol. It's not. The only peace symbol this world has ever known is this, what is identified, what I just showed you. It's the Ayahuasca Wampum Belt. It is the only people on earth that has achieved peace. We pulled our head out of the dark ages of war. We were able to, if you think of this, let's say a scale of positive and negative, and it say positive, negative 10 to positive 10. When we are where we are, you're on the negative scale. When you're at war, our men, me, my past, it was me. It's not somebody in the past. It's me. I was at war. Could have been, it's 2,000 years ago. It's me. I was at war. So I'm in the negative right here. This is where I was in negative 10. Once the men pulled our heads out of our rear ends of the dark ages of war, we were able to climb up the evolutionary ladder to the neutral spot where the women were waiting for us. Because the women, up until the newly produced version of women today, it's the atomic version of women. You are now an atomic version of women, where you don't realize that right now, you as a woman are now draftable into wars, to the point of where if you were pregnant, that would not be a reason for you not to go to war. Because imagine this, the technology today of war is that for pregnant women to be on the front line, they have created like a bra to hold your belly into place so that you can be on the front line while you are carrying a child, killing other people. You are the atomic version of women now. From 1945, when there was the great witchcraft upon the entire world, all the earth has been altered genetically. You just don't know it. You're the atomic version now of women. So when we done this, pulled our heads out of the rear ends, out of our rear end of war, it's not because we just had this idea, hey, let's stop killing each other. Guys aren't gonna do that. You know, guys don't have that intellectual capacity to all of a sudden, hey, why am I doing this? Guys don't have that. Guys have more of, while they're right in the middle of it and you're confronted with, hey, you dummy, why are you doing this? They're more like, "Rah." They're more into it, which the entire society right now is doing, knows that we're on a one-way trip to hell and we're going at the speed of light, and they see the gates of hell right up ahead of us and they step on the gas. Everyone on earth is doing this. So you're not evolving. The women now are below this point. They're below the neutral point. Because now you accept women in military, women killers, women snipers, women pilots, bomber pilots. You accept it. You haven't said nothing about it. That means that you, in the part that you are a collective of, it's been compromised and you are allowing it. You don't say nothing about it. You know it's wrong. It's corruption. What do you do about corruption? You don't know. I know what to do about corruption. I know how to address it because I have this in the fiber of my being that will not allow, I cannot allow corruption to happen. If it's around me, I can't sit there. It's impossible. But you are in Philadelphia, where, sure you heard of this, just last year, a woman getting raped on the metro at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and all everybody did was take out their cameras and film it while she was screaming, help me, I'm getting raped. All the people in the metro, all they did is film. You're in Philadelphia. It used to be you were in New York City. But New York City is the commodification. Philadelphia is supposedly the freedom. Where you are.
So, it's already 4 to 6 and,
Okay, all right, so in the moon teachings, what did I leave out? What was missing? Okay, here's what happens. This is where we went from first dimension to second. Where it starts off the first time, this is if you're just thinking of a plane. So let's just think of a plane. The sun's rays are coming at the moon. It's just causing the moon to go around like this. All the earth is turning like this. That's all you see. How we came into the second, third dimension and into the third is that when you think of heat, if the sun shining on the moon, and if it's just one dimension, what it would do is it would just push the moon away until it gets to that point of where, okay, it's not that hot. But the moon is tidally locked to the earth. So even if you push the moon away, well, the earth would still be holding it back. So the water in relation to the sun where the heat activates it. So what makes this happen is it tells you that there is a parameter. There's a parameter, just as you know, to Jupiter. There's a parameter to its radius, not radius, orbit. There's a parameter to everything in its orbit. Look at my arm, there's a parameter to it. It can only grow within, depending on if I make muscle or if I don't eat, if the parameter will get smaller or bigger. Okay, so, but still it stays within the parameter. So here's the parameter of Grandma Moon. That she's not gonna get just pushed away from the heat. It's decided by the shape of us. And the shape of us is our DNA. That's the shape of us, because every cell in our body has this, right? It's got that spiral. So that's our shape. Okay, so now think of this. The first sun hitting the moon, and the moon's got to move in order to rotate. What's actually happening is this. It starts from the one dimension, and she's rising just like steam rises. So as she's rising, Grandma Moon, she's holding the hand of Mother Earth. It's her umbilical cord. It's the unseen thing that you can't see. What is it? Have science explain to you what it is that keeps our Grandma Moon tidally locked. So as she rises and comes around to the first thing, think of like a spiral staircase. So when you get here above where you were, that's your second dimension. And then when you're moving around again and you get there again, that's your third dimension. And then we know that this conglomeration of these three dimensions creates us here, and we think we're bound by it. No, we're not. I told you of collective, and this is something that you don't know of the council process. The council process can rise you beyond fourth dimension. It could rise you through all the dimensions in which we exist upon, what we exist in, because it is the realities. Okay, so Radharani, let's go to them as fast as we can. I'm so sorry, but this is the way that it is. Let's see if they got anything to say about this. But Radharani, a friend of ours that we met last year. She comes from
Watch it.
she comes from watch it. And is Czechoslovakia, is it?
Slovenia.
Slovenia, yeah. Anyway, she came to Turtle Island. She was looking for something. She ended up at our place. She tells us of what she's feeling, what's going on. So we had to read her, we had to decipher. And anyways, an effort between the two of us has come about where we're engaged in the heartbeat. And she's brought the heartbeat to the level of the drums within on that side of the world in Europe and with the non-native people. And she's been walking across Europe, different places to bring the message of peace, of love, to identify matrilineal, of all the stuff that we just talked about and great law of peace. So anyways, this is why she was here. We were supposed to do interaction. It didn't.
Yolotecuhtli after that too.
Okay, so let's go and let's just get them there and see if there's anything that what we talk about. Okay, so they were there all the while through the Moon Teaching Sharing Circle. Okay, Radharani, you're the first one there. We're gonna deal with you first because of the time where she is. I don't know what time it is, but it's super, super, super late. Radharani, sorry it took so long. Here you are twice. We see two of you. Ah, there you are. Okay, you heard everything, so just whatever, jump in and floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Stuart, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for this really nice talk. I am really tired, yes, because it's midnight here. I actually don't want to say much because I would rather see that the video speaks on its own. Maybe the only thing I can say is that, you know, like this science and business is discrediting art as well. And that's why I also chose to speak more poetically, because I think through this, you somehow develop metaphoric mind by which, you know, to me, it makes all the sense in the world what you're saying. And without metaphorical thinking, you cannot make sense of anything.
Okay,
Yeah, just go for it, you know. I don't want to.
okay,
speak.
for the people here and whoever's watching, just so that they to address what our interaction is. Just to take it further, I didn't mention this, but yes, she's an artist and she's got different disciplines, and it's through art that she's causing the world, way that it is right now, to address things through her art, like bringing things to the forefront, you know. She's going into different communities, talking to different people, bringing her drum, talking about the heartbeat in this, and trying to bring people back to reality-based reality, you know. So this is an effort that we've become engaged in with her because of where she is. We see Europe is crazy. It's It's the part of the brain that just went insane and it's like spaghetti and it's got to be addressed. If we don't address it, then the craziness just continues. So Radharani is, you could say, I'll say, a superwoman in a place where women just don't add up to nothing, where they're not listened to. And she's been looking for a place of where to have this energy, to have this voice, where the energy of her can manifest into the good way of what she wants. So we've been having these different interactions, drumming circles, drumming ceremonies across the Great Waters. And we continue to do this. The video, we're not going to have time to show it here in the World Social Forum, but we're going to post it onto my page and incorporate it to the World Social Forum, you know how to do things.
No, Stuart, you cannot post it on the internet.
Oh, no?
No, because I don't have permission from the musician to do that.
Oh, okay, so what was this video for then?
Yeah, I thought it's going to be presented today. I was doing it for this event.
Yeah, but it's still on the internet.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, but now it's like projected, from the room. But if you put just the video on, then it's available to be downloaded, also the music, and I don't have permission. I'm sorry, I live in this sort of frames.
We cannot.
Okay, so look, that we don't have to discuss this here. See what you can do. At some point, we'll share the video. But for the people here to know that there are efforts going on around the world already. And I'll say to you, there's efforts to awaken the life giver. That's what's got to happen. The life givers have to awaken. In 2015, myself and my son and in a woman and her son walked across the country. We went to all the communities. We went on a basically to check the state of affairs, state of the nation. And in every community we went into, we seen, of course, the chaos, the destruction. It's the same everywhere. And what our walk was to bring our mothers back to their natural seat of authority, return our mothers back to power, so they can manage all of our nations properly once again. Because to correct things, this is what we need. Because what has happened to us as a species, the female has been squashed, the love is squashed, the logic, the common sense, the creativity is squashed. And this is why we love so much Radharani as to her creativity and what her efforts are to bring, again, to bring us back into a reality-based reality. Not a reality TV show based reality, but to put it back into that reality. So you got to look for efforts like this all around the earth, wherever you can find it, and link yourself to it. And if it's something that doesn't suit you, like if it's something that you can identify that it's wrong, then you got to identify it. You got to address it. You can't just go there and move on, because then it's like, well, I go here, there's a crime happening. Well, I don't like it, so I'm going to another place. Hey, another crime. I don't like it, I'm going somewhere else. You know what you're doing? You're leaving a trail of crime, even if you're not the criminal. Aiding and abetting, remember? Leaving a trail of crime. Don't do that. Everywhere I go, I have to adjust what happened.
That's because you speak, I have to show people on the Zoom.
Okay, so
You know.
Whatever, Radharani, do you have anything else to say on this? If not, then we're gonna go to Yolotecuhtli. Did we say that right? Okay.
No, I don't have anything to say because like when we spoke the last time, I said I'm going to speak with the video. So actually my video should speak,
Okay, all right, so then our next interaction with Radharani, this is gonna be hopefully within, we're trying to do something on a monthly basis. This is what you gotta do. Keep doing something on a monthly basis. You come to some point like a New Year's and you come up with a New Year's resolution, right? Oh, this year I'm gonna exercise. This year I'm gonna eat right. Well, how about this year I'm gonna do something about healing Mother Earth? Because you've heard in the last 4 or 5 years, every politician on earth saying to you, trust the science, right? Have you heard that? Trust the science? You see any politicians trusting the science? No, they're a bunch of liars. They don't want you to trust the science. They want you to trust their policies. But if we trust the science, then we got to listen to their science. And their science of everyone on earth, the United Nations, put together, created the IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change in 2008. They commissioned them, scientists from around the world, to let's assess what's happening to the earth. And all these scientists came back with a conclusion in the year 2017. Hey, wait a minute, that's 8 years ago. Is it 8 years ago? Ooh, you know what their conclusion was in 2017? That we have until the year 2030 in which to reverse the destruction we have already caused. They said that 8 years ago. Have you seen anybody do anything? Any country, any religion, any organization, anybody do anything to address? You can't. You can't see that because it's not happening. No matter what the efforts are, one tiny little effort over here, like hippies to remove themselves out of and go live in the bush or something, one tiny little effort here means that, hey, everywhere else, it's still happening and it's exponentializing. So what we got to do is not address this little thing and then that little thing and another little thing, because by the time we're done, there's bigger and bigger things. You will never accomplish anything. So what must be done? Like every cell in the body, if the cell can determine that, hey, there's cancer in the body, we want to survive, then every cell in the body has to work together. This means that every cell in the body interacting, communicating immediately with the central point of consciousness then gets an agenda of how to address this. But where you are, you're just an individual. You're not communicating with central point of consciousness. You got no agenda. You're on your own. Good luck. Like you said, on your own. What can I do? Well, I'll tell you what you can do. Like myself, I am of identity. I am Kanienkehaka. I know who and what I am. I know where I am. I know when I am. And so I do not look at the job as how big it is to discourage me. I look at the job that Mama lays before me and I accept it. And I set out to do it. And we get it done. But those who look at the mountain and say they cannot move it, never even try to climb that mountain, never even address it. So be that force of nature that you know is within you. You have those 38 trillion cells. You have 38 trillion sources of energy within you. You have turtle, wolf, and bear within you. You have, if you want to know what is protons, neutrons, and electrons, that's within you. You are the force of nature. And together, we are a bigger force of nature. But on our own, we're fighting each other. Would you rather fight each other? Or would you rather us work together to heal the thing that we are all, well, I won't say that we're all causing, because I am not the cause of it. I am an unwilling participant in a rape. Whereas the colonial outpost of so-called Canada and every person within it is the rapist. They are actually that. Be a force of nature. Be it. Rise to identity. And say, I'm going to do this job. I don't ever want to hear from you again. Big deal. It's me saying, I don't want to ever hear from you again that I can't do it. That I'm just one person. Oh, what am I going to do? I know that you can say, I am a force of nature. And a force of nature, especially if I had your power as a life giver, nothing would move me. Because right now, nothing moves me, and I stand for my mother. I'm a male. Imagine if I was a female. From that power, in that power, what I can do. Imagine what you can do. Imagine what you can do when you rise that life giver ahead of you, above you, the way it's supposed to be. Hold your own mother up by knowing the truth of something that we showed you on the board there. Knowing the truth of what makes you up, how you are made for what we do. Okay, so okay, yeah, we understand. Let's go then to see if Yolotecuhtli has if he's still there.
Yolotecuhtli, are you still with us?
¿Estás ahí?
Everything happened today in such a,
Estoy, sí.
Sí, aquí estoy.
Ok. Adelante, Yolotecuhtli, con lo que nos quieras decir.
Bien, voy a encender mi cámara. Ahí estoy. Bueno, primero que nada, un saludo en nuestra lengua, Totlapalolis, Toigniwa. Nuestros saludos, hermanos, a los presentes y a los que posteriormente nos habrán de ver a través de esta grabación.
So I just needed to turn on my camera. So first, greetings in my original language to everybody that is here observing and those who will also watch this video later on.
Quiero decir algo importante para comenzar un diálogo que habrá de tener múltiples inicios, como lo es este a través de esta convocatoria.
And I would like to present an issue that for me will need further discussion between us, but I think that it's important at least to mention it here in this space, in this time, in this forum.
Y como ha dicho nuestro hermano Stuart, el tiempo que nosotros concebimos es circular y es en constante espiral hacia
And as
hacia
our
otro momento.
And as our brother Stuart mentioned, the time how we conceive it, original peoples, is that it's always moving constantly upwards and in a spiral.
Entonces, doy inicio a esta conversación en la que quiero leer algo muy breve, pero lo ordené de la siguiente manera para dejar claro cuál es la postura y la visión de nuestros pueblos indígenas, hermanos de ustedes, desde aquí, desde México.
So I put my ideas in paper to make them have a structure and an order, and I would like to enumerate what I wrote, just to know that we are in constant echoing with the peoples of the North here in this place that is called Mexico.
Hablo ante ustedes no solo como el portavoz de un pueblo, sino como una parte viva de un cuerpo milenario que aún respira.
And I speak to you not only as a representative of a nation, but also as a symbolic presentation of a body of peoples, original peoples that are still there, that are still breathing, that are still living.
Somos los pueblos originarios del mundo, somos raíz profunda, palabra viva y fuego que no se extingue.
We are the original peoples, we are the deep word, we are the alive fire that does not go extinguished.
Y a diferencia de otros foros, nuestra presencia aquí no será solo simbólica, pretendemos que sea jurídica, política y en última instancia espiritual.
And differing from other forums, I would say that in this forum, we know that our presence has to be not only symbolic, but judicial, legal, political, spiritual, and all of the different sectors or domains that are known today.
Como primer punto, quisiera destacar que requerimos y demandamos a nuestras hermanas naciones originarias la articulación de una alianza de naciones con un cuerpo jurídico y con una visión cosmogónica y política para ejercer una nueva dirección entre nosotros.
And the statement that I want to make known here is that us original peoples need to unite under our own original laws so that the cosmogony, the cosmovision that we are still keeping alive and defending is to be preserved and shared.
Esta alianza se sustenta en los principios de autodeterminación, reciprocidad, territorialidad e interdependencia espiritual que ha sido sostenida por nuestros abuelos durante milenios.
And this spiritual alliance is based on the self-determination, on the spiritual knowledge of our ancestors that have been keeping it alive for centuries.
Nuestra legitimidad se respalda en una realidad global. Somos más de 5,000 pueblos indígenas en 90 países.
And this interdependence and this legality of us is that we as original peoples are more than 50,000 different nations worldwide that are still anchored in their territories and their original laws.
Representamos 476 millones de personas.
We represent 476 million people.
Hablamos más del 40% de las lenguas vivas del planeta.
And we speak more than 30% of the alive languages of the planet.
Y protegemos el 80% de la biodiversidad del mundo.
We protect 80% of the biodiversity of the world.
No somos una minoría, somos una mayoría despojada.
We are not what they could call us as a minority, but a spoiled, stolen majority.
Y somos guardianes de la vida.
We are keepers of life.
Por lo tanto, proponemos que haya un foro permanente para las cuestiones de las Naciones Indígenas Unidas alrededor de todo el mundo.
We propose that the original nations have a permanent forum so that all of our issues can be discussed in a continuous fashion.
También proponemos que de cada una de nuestras naciones autodeterminadas sean educados los próximos expertos en derechos de pueblos indígenas cuya formación sea la nuestra y no la de las instituciones que han tenido a bien imponernos su visión del mundo.
And as a main program, we should focus on bringing back our original law so that we can teach it to the younger generation so that they can learn how to defend ourselves within our original laws and not their laws that they want to keep on imposing on us.
De ello deriva también que como segundo punto propongamos la instauración de un sistema jurídico intercultural, es decir, un cuerpo de tribunales de justicia ancestral.
And as a second point, deriving from this one, we propose that through this education, we are able to create judicial systems that are dealing with our own people in the way that we do things and not with somebody else's idea of how to do it.
Nuestros pueblos han vivido una violencia sistemática, prolongada y casi siempre impune.
Our peoples have lived a systemic violence that has been long enough prolonged and most of the times has been in total impunity.
Tan solo en el año 2023 se documentaron más de 200 asesinatos de líderes indígenas, la mayoría vinculados a la defensa de territorio.
Only in the year 2023, there were registered more than 2,000 murders of Native people that were linked to protecting Mother Earth.
Por ello, los principios operativos de estos tribunales deben de ser definir una jurisdicción cultural y territorial propia.
So when we are going to create our own tribunals, we have to start by defining our own judicial territory and the jurisprudence that goes with it,
con procedimientos orales y no adversariales,
with oral procedures as we know them and not with adversarial ways,
promoviendo la justicia restaurativa, no punitiva,
and promoting restorative justice, not the punishing one,
y reconociendo a la madre tierra como sujeto de derechos, no como un recurso.
and recognizing our Mother Earth as a subject of law and not like just a source of resources.
De ello deriva el tercer punto, que es que todo consentimiento libre, previo e informado no significará ninguna consulta hacia nuestros pueblos.
And the third point is that whatever they consider a prior and informed consent, it means that no project shall even be considered without asking our peoples what it is.
Porque siempre estará nuestra madre tierra como sujeta de derechos por encima incluso de las decisiones de nuestras naciones cuando nuestras decisiones afecten los derechos de nuestra madre tierra.
Or otherwise said is that the fact that our Mother Earth is the first subject of law for all of us original peoples means that even if some of the nations of the original peoples want to have a project that will actually harm our Mother Earth, well, their right would be under that first right of all of us, that we are there to care for her and protect her.
Esto deriva en el cuarto punto, que es la defensa de la madre tierra. Esta es la única acción como nosotros, la distintiva.
And the fourth point derives from this one again. It is the defense of our Mother Earth within, again, our laws and not the punishing one either.
Y esto solucionaría un problema que se ha generado durante los últimos 500 años, que es distinguir al nativo del que no lo es. Hoy sería suficiente tener a nuestro lado como aliados a todos aquellos que defiendan a la madre tierra, no importando su origen étnico, su formación cultural o académica.
And that would also kind of like deal with the adversarial conflict that exists on recognizing the native and the non-native, in the sense that if we all agree that our first goal and our law is to protect our Mother Earth, it means that native people would have also on their side allies that could come from different other nations, from different backgrounds, even from academia or whatever corporate background, if they are also defending and protecting first our Mother Earth.
¿Y por qué es importante esta acción y no solamente un eslogan?
Why this is important, and it ought to not just stay like in a little slogan or phrase.
3.7 millones de hectáreas de bosques primarios fueron destruidas solo en el año 2023.
In 2023, 3.7 million hectares were destroyed by cutting the trees in the woods just in that 1 year.
Se están desertificando 12 millones de hectáreas de suelo fértil cada año.
And every year, 12 million hectares are being desertified, so the soil is no longer fertile in those places.
La temperatura global ha aumentado 1.47 grados Celsius desde la era preindustrial.
And the temperature of our Mother Earth has increased 1.47 degrees since the beginning of the industrial era.
Y eso es lo que ha traído como consecuencia el aumento de los incendios forestales en tierras de lo que hoy llaman Canadá, que originalmente nosotros llamábamos Kanáhuac.
And that is what has made it worse with the forest fires in the land that they also call today Canada. That is actually not even the righteous name. We know that this is a native word that is Canada.
Kanáhuac.
Kanáhuac.
Más de 4,000 millones de personas sufren escasez de agua al menos una vez al año.
And more than 4,000 million people suffer of lack of water at least once in a year.
Y el 70% del agua dulce del planeta se consume en agricultura industrial.
And 70% of the drinkable water of the planet is used in industrial agriculture.
Por ello, concluimos que la crisis climática no es una catástrofe natural, sino es una violación estructural de los derechos de la tierra.
And that is how we conclude that the climate crisis is not like something naturally occurring, but a direct violation against the rights of our mother.
Por lo tanto, en estas acciones hemos tenido a bien promover 4 puntos básicos. 1, promover la Declaración Universal del Agua como un bien común.
And therefore, in these points, we come about to conclude 4 actions that we could take. And the first one is the recognition of the water declaration, as to say that water is something that everybody should have access to all the time.
Por lo tanto, no sería privatizable o militarizable como lo están haciendo en algunos lugares del planeta.
Therefore, water couldn't be privatized or even militarized as it's happening in some portions of the planet.
Como segundo punto, impulsar una campaña mundial de purificación de los cuerpos de agua con tecnología regenerativa y sabiduría ancestral, como se está haciendo desde el Perú.
As a second point, it would be cleaning and restoration of the body of the water in the different parts, as it is happening currently in so-called Peru, for instance.
Y como tercer punto, necesitamos ejercer una resistencia jurídica activa ante los megaproyectos extractivos que violan el consentimiento de nuestros pueblos, como lo es en la Amazonía, en Ecuador, en Perú, Colombia, en Brasil, en México, en Canadá y en Estados Unidos.
And as a third point, there should be a more active judicial resistance to all of the projects that are attaining the health of our Mother Earth, that are being railroaded upon all of the different territories. As, for example, in the Amazon, all of the so-called countries of Brazil, Peru, Venezuela, even Mexico, and even so-called Canada.
Y como cuarto punto, nosotros impulsamos un programa global de arborización planetaria, bajo la consigna, un árbol, un rezo, una acción de justicia.
And as a fourth point, we promote a re-treeization, like to replant trees everywhere in a way that we can say that one tree is similar to an offering, to a right, and that we are giving back the earth to our, the air to our Mother Earth.
Y esto nos conduce al quinto punto, que es una reparación, demandamos una reparación integral y una ruta de implementación jurídica transnacional, hermanada a través de nuestros sistemas de justicia ancestral, es decir, crear nuestros propios tratados jurídicos para proteger territorios sagrados, que son todos.
And the fifth point would be to enact this judicialization, like to create the legal ways of like how to bring our ancestral legal rights back in an international fashion, so that all of these things can be taken care of, ensured, and monitored.
Para ello necesitamos que cada una de nuestras naciones promueva la profesión de embajadores, es decir, embajadores del sur yendo al norte y embajadores del norte yendo al sur, con el único propósito de comprender el sistema milenario de protección hacia la tierra que cada uno de nosotros heredamos.
And in order to facilitate that, we have to create a system of ambassadors, in the sense that people from the south would travel to the north, and people from the north would travel to the south in order to learn the ancestral knowledge as to the different techniques that are known as to how to protect our Mother Earth in the actions and in the legal ways.
Con esto concluyo y quiero decir que nosotros como pueblos indígenas no somos nostalgia, no somos folclor, somos raíz, cuerpo y horizonte.
And that's how I conclude. And just to say that the original peoples, we are not nostalgia. We are not something that was left stuck in the past. We are a living body that is breathing, and that we are there for long to stay.
Concluida esta parte que tenía organizada, quisiera decir algunas reflexiones, quisiera comentarlas con ustedes.
And now this part of my reflections for in writing being concluded, I would like to continue also with some thoughts about what I've heard from you and the interaction and reciprocity that we have been having.
Con profunda pena, con profunda confusión y dolor, observamos durante los días que estuvo presente lo que ciertos grupos de la población que habita sus territorios siguen llamando rey.
And we observed with a lot of concern, sadness, and actually disappointment of the behaviors of certain people that live in your territories.
A lo que ellos llaman rey, nosotros nunca hemos concebido semejante idea de distanciamiento entre seres humanos.
And it is actually a behavior that will just continue promoting the confrontation between the human beings.
Porque la definición de rey, bajo la cual sigue la investidura de ese personaje que visitó sus territorios, está distinguido porque esa persona no puede ser juzgada por un crimen.
And it is because this figure of the so-called king that came, well, that went and visited your territories, it's not something that, for example, could be said, okay, we're going to trial him because of a crime he committed.
No está sujeto a la justicia, no está sujeto a las regulaciones, a las observaciones que le pueda demandar su pueblo gobernado o sus semejantes.
Actually, the figure of the so-called king itself means that he is completely out of a subject of law, of their own laws, meaning that he is above anything that whatever his people could demand of him.
Sabemos perfectamente que nuestros pueblos ancestrales en América del Sur y aquí en América Central, lo que hoy es México, esa concepción la consideramos lo más atrasado de nuestra evolución como seres humanos. Es decir, la diferenciación donde unos tienen todos los privilegios y los derechos y otros no los tienen. Eso simplemente no es concebible para nosotros.
And from the original people's perspective, when you look at such a way of dealing with things, of having a king and then the subjects of the king, well, we cannot even conceive how can it be that there is a great disparity between those that are on top of that chain and those that are at the lower levels of that, like the inequality and the gap between the two is so big that it's something that we cannot even imagine. How can that be done?
Por eso durante 500 años nosotros hemos tenido que revolucionar y emprender guerras que lamentablemente derivaron en violencia y en muerte, pero porque rechazamos esa separación, esa distinción. Por eso rechazamos el imperio español, por eso después rechazamos todos los imperios que quisieron venir a imponer esa figura.
That is why us as original peoples were only forced to defend ourselves against that craziness. So through all of the history of colonization here, we have seen murders, wars, conflict, violence, as if it was us. But it is just that we couldn't accept such a crazy reality being imposed on us. So we had to defend with everything we could against that.
Y esto sabemos que hay un control de la narrativa cuando se escribe acerca de nuestra historia, y hay todavía escritores contemporáneos que se atreven a decir que aquí hubo reyes, aquí no hubo semejante cosa.
And in the academia today, there will be people that will dare to challenge that kind of reality, and they will say their narrative. They will want to control the narrative. And for example, they will be saying there were kings and princes in our original peoples. Us, we never had something like that ever.
Y aquí lo que había eran principales, guías, rectores.
Here, what we had was kind of like would be a principal, guys, people that would manage.
Y esos eran los primeros que estaban sujetos a observación, los primeros que estaban sujetos a escrutinio y a ejecución de reglas y de castigos cuando faltasen a su cometido como encargados de regular las actividades de nuestras sociedades.
And they will be the first one that will be under observation and under high scrutiny. They will have to follow the laws of the people and the land. They couldn't do whatever they wanted. And even if they erred, they would be subject even to execution because our peoples were very straight in the way things need to be handled.
Por lo tanto, para que nuestros gobernantes pudieran ejercer su poder, si querían que la población tuviese educación física y militar, ellos tenían que ejercitarse física y militarmente.
Therefore, if the peoples were faced with a threat and they had to train themselves, let's say, to create a body of men that will have to go and defend, it was up to them to be the ones training themselves and executing the mental and the physical strength that such an endeavor would demand.
Si querían que la sociedad fuera de astrónomos, ellos tenían que ser los primeros y mejores astrónomos.
And if they wanted to guide their people to the best astronomic observers, it was there for them that had to be the best astronomers.
Si querían que fueran los mejores ingenieros, ellos tenían que ser los mejores.
And if they wanted their people to be the best engineers, well, they had to be the best ones.
Por eso, la historia de nuestros gobernantes es que al mismo tiempo que eran astrónomos, eran ingenieros, eran militares, eran educadores y eran perfectos conocedores de los sistemas jurídicos para regular las actividades de su población.
And that is why the people that would guide us, what they could call the governors, were all of it. We're astronomers, we're engineers, we're educators, and first of all, we're legislators. They knew what laws needed to be applied, how and when, so that the management of the people would be coinciding with what needed to be done.
Es por ello que para nosotros la figura medieval de un rey y de una población sujeta a su mandato, a su investidura, es totalmente opuesta a nuestra cosmovisión.
And that is why for us, the figure of a king that is controlling absolutely everybody under him, that is the feudal or the medieval way of dealing things that came here and then established itself, is like for us, there was no comprehension of these things. How could that happen?
Y es por ello que extiendo un mensaje de consternación al ver que algunos de nuestros representantes o de lo que ellos dicen representar, ataviados con regalias, con plumas, se manifiestan de una manera servil ante la figura, y eso contradice nuestra histórica lucha milenaria por igualar a la sociedad.
And therefore, the message is about concern of seeing, for example, that there are people that are saying that they are representing Native people and that are completely in a submissive way dealing with this figure that is so-called king. And that image itself will completely contradict the historical reality of our peoples that have been always defending against this atrocity and that we never wanted to ever had nothing to do with that.
Por ello, y después de dicho esto, es que requerimos volver a generar una alianza entre nosotros para erigir la nueva educación, la educación renovada, sólida, que necesitamos transmitir a las siguientes generaciones. Gracias a la tecnología, podemos hacerlo realidad hoy, a nuestra manera, con nuestra propia línea de tiempo.
And I say that because I see the need again of what the first thing that I brought up of the alliance that we need to put together as original peoples for our true education. For us to be able to do it, we have at reach the technology and we can decide how to make it happen and everything.
Pues con este mensaje quisiera dejar el espacio para que otros hermanos pudieran interactuar y pudieran compartir lo que han tenido a bien llevar a una mesa tan especial como la que ha sido convocada. Espero que este mensaje pueda llegar a los cuatro rumbos, que pueda tener un eco en el centro del universo y que pueda ser abrazado por la Madre Tierra.
And this being said, well, that's how I conclude this participation because I would like to leave some room if anybody has something to say or reciprocate with whatever is in your minds, in your hearts, and to say that this is not just something to be said, it's something to be carried out in our words, in our hearts, in our winds, because all of this is in order to protect our Mother Earth.
Totlazo Camachililia, Toigniwa. Muchas gracias, hermanos.
I agree with everything you said.
Estoy totalmente de acuerdo con todo lo que dijiste.
I hear your displeasure expressed in the native people here in so-called Canada that have gone to see this guy they call Charles from Britain.
Y escucho muy bien tu desacuerdo y hasta tu disgusto de gente que se dice ser nativa y que fue a ver al así llamado Carlos de Inglaterra.
It's absolute insanity.
Y es una locura total.
You think of the fact of that, but the Jews right now on earth are identifying that they have the right to go into Palestine, whatever, kill people there, be based on a genocide that happened to them, that they claim happened to them in World War II, that spanned a time frame of approximately 5-6 years. That apparently, they say, approximately 6 million of them got killed within 5 or 6 years. Well, for us, over 500 years, hundreds of millions have been killed. And so could you imagine any of the Jews going to visit Hitler if Hitler came into one of the concentration camps? This is precisely what happened. When all of my people, who are people here in Turtle Island, were stupid enough to go and pay homage or tribute or whatever they went there for.
¿Te imaginas, por ejemplo, ¿no? Los judíos ahora que se sienten con el derecho de invadir el territorio palestino porque se les dio este espacio llamado Israel, porque hubo, dicen, 5 o 6 millones de ellos que fueron masacrados en la Guerra Mundial y esto fue en un periodo de 5 o 6 años. Entonces, Si te imaginas nosotros como pueblos originarios que tenemos 500 años de genocidio y que cientos de miles de millones de nosotros han sido masacrados, esto que fue de que los nativos vayan a ver a Carlos sería el equivalente de que si Hitler llegara a algún lugar, los judíos fueran corriendo a visitarlo e inclusive a quererle besarle la mano.
Okay, so I'm gonna share with you a scenario that happened to me this past Monday. Now, keep in mind that the devil that they call Charles was here on Tuesday. Something happened to me in Ottawa, the so-called nation's capital of so-called Canada, on Monday.
Y me gustaría compartirte una historia que me ocurrió a mí el lunes cuando fui a la Corte Suprema de así llamado Canadá. Y bueno, teniendo en consideración que esto fue el lunes y este hombre, Carlos, que es el demonio, vino el martes.
Anyways, I went to the Supreme Court Monday, and I'll tell you about that later. But on our way back, we received a phone call.
Y bueno, te voy a contar por qué fui a la corte el lunes, pero cuando veníamos de regreso hubo una llamada telefónica.
It was
En inglés no te preocupes por la traducción, no entiendes perfectamente, you don't need to translate for him.
So can we just go back to just English to accelerate?
okay. Yeah, okay. So we don't need translation, so we're gonna accelerate then. What was I?
You received the phone call.
Okay, it wasn't a phone call. It was FaceTime or something. You gotta ask Cesar what it was. It was on his tablet.
Video messenger.
The video message. Okay, so we received a video message Monday coming back from the Supreme Court telling me that four natives have been selected for a VIP audience with that guy they called Charles. Now, they told me the names. One of them was of an elder Dene woman, a grandma Nancy Scanny. Now, here in the Northern Hemisphere, she's very famous. Many people from many nations know her. And she was gonna go there on Tuesday for a very specific reason. And I say it's not within like to go there and to bow to him. No, she was going there to battle with him. But they called to tell us that Nancy Scanny is one of the people who's on this VIP list. They named two other names. I forget their name. I could easily find it out though. But and then they told me, and I was one of the names that they put on this four natives on a VIP list to see this guy they call Charles from Britain. Of course, I did not apply for that. There are other native people here across the territories who I guess agree with the things that I say or agree with the positions that I have that we make. And so these people took it upon themselves to clump me together with the people that the other three to go and to represent. But they didn't talk to me about it. They didn't ask me, but still they done that. And of course we appreciated that this is what is in their hearts and their minds. But of course they didn't take into consideration that I would not go see the devil. I'm not going to go visit the devil. I'm not going to shake hands with the devil. I'm not going to stand next to the devil. I'm not going to acknowledge the devil in our house in the way that he came here. He is the devil, the one who eats children. That's who Charles is of Britain. That's what Britain represents in this world. The entity that goes around the world eating children. And their preference is native children. So it's sort of like the way a person might like eating steaks, likes veal. That's the bloody British. They kill children. So there's no way in hell I'm going to go visit that guy. No way in hell I'm going to go lend any kind of credence to his visit whatsoever. So I can tell you of what you are expressing your displeasure about native people in the north going to visit this guy. I can tell you that I am the only person on the planet who has gone through the process of being vetted to go and see that guy they call Charles, who refuses, who has not gone to see him. Every other person on the planet who gets put on a VIP list to go and visit him, talk with him or whatever, everybody takes that opportunity. Not me. No way in hell. So it's like, imagine if you went into I don't know, if there was a chemical explosion, and if you went near the smoke, you would be stupid to go near the smoke because it's chemicals. You would be even more stupid to go right into the chemical cloud. So there's no way in hell that any native people should have been present around the devil when he came here on Tuesday. So I agree with you 100% about what you said, that yes, all the native people who were dumb enough to do that, they're all categorized. They categorize themselves. And you and I have to keep acknowledging what they've done. They are traitors to our nations. That has to be acknowledged. And we have to conduct ourselves in relation to them based on that from now on. Okay, so that's the last thing that you said. We get that out of the way. I support you 100% on that. Okay, now the other things that you said about, let me see if I can remember, about establishing an international, I forget your exact words, but like system of law between us. Okay, this is what you and I, through the reconstitution of the eagle and the condor process, is actually about. This is what we are doing. Each of us who would stand within our identity, no matter what we're doing, we're working for that. Now here, just so that you know, on Monday, where I said this past Monday, where I was in Ottawa, the reason why I was there was to go and to lodge a case, an appeal, into the Supreme Court of Canada, so-called Canada. Because I'm in the lower court in so-called Quebec, and they're stepping all over my rights. I pushed against them systemic racial genocide. I'm defending myself. I don't use no lawyer. You cannot use a lawyer. Any native person who uses a lawyer, you have lost already. You do not use a lawyer. So I don't use a lawyer, and we made it all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada. Now, when we were there, they resisted us all the way and said, no, 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 no. And we said, yes, 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 yes. And at the end of the day, we got what we went there for. They tried to prevent us. And one of the ways they tried to prevent us is they tried to inflict upon me that in order to file an appeal in the Supreme Court of Canada, in order to do this, they demanded an identification from me, an ID card, which is for them only a driver's license or something else from the white man's system. I don't have that. I said, I don't have that. This is what I done. I had my wampum belts. I had my wampum belts with me. I don't have them with me now, but just as an example, I got my wampum belts on my arm, and the guy asked me for my ID. And I go like this. I put my leather there and I unfold it and I put all my belts out and I says, this is my identification. This is in the Supreme Court of so-called Canada. They had no choice. They had to accept it. I filed my appeal. I don't have an ID. They asked me for ID. I showed them my wampum belts. So just imagine now what that means. So just imagine if you done that in the Supreme Court of Mexico. Well, then in the Supreme Court of Mexico, it would mean then that they're recognizing your identity. They resisted, but I forced it. And once I forced it, they got no choice. They got to accept it. But the thing is that every lay down and die peacefully native, good little Indian who will go and kiss Charles's rear end, that those people all have the identification from that guy that Charles gave them. They all have their native status card from so-called Canada. They all have their driver's license from whatever province. I don't have none of the white man's ID, nothing. I don't have it. So I use only my ID. And sometimes I have a card, a native card that I made. Sometimes I have that. And they got no choice, they gotta accept it. I crossed the international border without an ID. I don't have an ID when I go into the so-called United States. So I force these things. And that's how what you said about us attaining an international legal protocol between us, it will happen by all of us, each of us, asserting this every place. So this is what's leading to this. Also I can't remember like all the points that you put. You said 5 points. I only addressed 2. The other points are actually being addressed through the reconstitution process, as you know, by us communicating. Oh, one of them was you said that we need to have a permanent form. Yes, the permanent form is the reconstitution of the eagle and the condor. It's us. We are permanently there. If it was provided for us like a job or something, we wouldn't be permanently there. We are permanent. Like you said, you are within your identity, I am mine. We are both a force of nature. And as long as we stay within our identity as a force of nature, then you can have everyone in the world killing us. It ain't gonna matter. They're killing themselves. Yes, we feel the brunt of genocide, but think of this. When we're getting killed, yeah, we're not losing our identity. But the white man, when he's here genociding upon us and killing us, he's lost his identity. He is a killer. He is a colonial genocider, systemic racism in everybody, in every colonial outpost country. This is what, just to give a reference here, now I'm going to say something a little, a word that might be a little bit bad. When you know that the head of so-called democracy in the world is referring to other countries as shithole countries, the shithole countries are actually the democracies, because democracies are formed out of colonization. Anyone who leaves their home to go and colonize knows that they are a thief, a rapist, a murderer. They set out to go and do that. So when we are genocided, we still have our identity. When they are doing it, they already lost it the moment that they left their homes. They have been identityless for over 500 years. Within their own colonial process upon themselves, they did it to themselves first. We can identify now today the white man, and now today you could just say it's everybody. It's the rainbow man now. No, it's originally the rainbow that exists within this colonial shithole country. It exists because of the white man. There is no rainbow that came here. It is the white man that came here under Britain to establish the systemic racial colonial genocide. And so all of them who's here now today, if they're Japanese, Chinese, if they're whatever, they're all under the white man, no matter what they want to think. Because the white man came here stealing, raping, and murdering. They came here and following in his footsteps. So let's see. Thieving, raping, murdering. If you come behind that person, step thieving, raping, murdering. Every generation is a thieving, raping, murderer. The non-native just will never accept what they are. They won't accept it. It's like we said earlier about the person who is hypnotized. When will they ever realize that they're hypnotized? Never. So the non-native will never realize what they have done already in this world. It is too late for them. Now, any individual in this world can laugh and say, hey, too late. Like, what? What's it too late for? It's too late for them. It's too late for the truth. Because I am telling the white man, it's too late for you. Because the only reality for the white man to stop being what the white man is to engage with us in UQAM. It's too late for them. It's too late. There comes a point when even Ma says to you, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. There comes a point where Ma is going to come down with her law upon you. Maybe it was a wooden spoon, but Ma came down with her law. And in everything, when you violate Ma, she's going to put her foot down at one point. And it's not that she's gonna do something against you. We don't have to do nothing against the white people of this world. It's what we're not gonna do. And what we're not gonna do is accept them any longer. Not that they ever were accepted. It's that when we start to confront the evils, like you bring somebody into court, can the criminal who's being charged, can they say to the prosecutor, hey, why are you bothering me? Why are you picking a fight? Why are you starting trouble with me? No, they can't say that. Law is coming down because you and I and everyone through the process of the reconstitution is bringing law back. How are we bringing it back? Just quite simply by talking about it. And by talking about it, people hear it. And when they hear it, it activates inside. When it activates inside, the white people are one of two things after that. Once we state it, they are either 100% conscious, gung-ho in what they're doing, going in a negative direction, or else they come to realize what they're doing and they cannot stop it. The non-native people, the white people, cannot stop what they are doing unless they engage in a proper two-row wampum relationship with us. And then when they do, then the world of knowledge is open to them. The world of love, the world of peace. It then becomes open to them. And this is the reality of what we are doing together collectively, you, me, my others, through the reconstitution. We are bringing back our law. Just the fact that you and I are talking about it, where nobody else is talking about it. It's happening here now, within this construct. Where is this construct? It's everywhere. We are now in the algorithm. And that's who we actually are fighting. All the people on the ground, all the non-native people, they are all constructs of the algorithm. But we bypass them and we go right to the central point of consciousness, to algorithm. The same way that I bypassed an entire process of court system that every non-native person would have to apply to. Not me. I went straight to the Supreme Court of so-called Canada, lodged my appeal there. They had to accept it. There's a video that we made on Monday. I don't know if you've seen it, but Edith will share it with you, just so that you know that here in so-called Canada, to address what you said, we are establishing an international protocol through just quite simply being who we are. Isn't that who the white man is afraid of? Who we are? Precisely. And so we got to stop being distracted. Stop, everybody, stop dealing with the white man. There's no reason for us to have any kind of dialogue, anything with them. All we got to do is be us. And when we are us, like we said, that's what they fear. They cannot stand against the force of nature that we are. Okay, so the other things, I think I addressed it in what you said. I can't remember all of the 5 points, but I think it was kind of like incorporated. And just to say that how happy I am that you are here today, because we don't care how many people are present here with us physically. It didn't matter. We don't need anybody present. All we need to do is have this conversation here officially through the World Social Forum that gets our foot in the door into the University of Quebec at Montreal. UQAM is one of the biggest universities here in Montreal. It's one of the big three, if you want. And it is the one of the path of most resistance to Native people. And the fact that we are here today having this conversation and the depths that we have gone, it doesn't mean anything about being in this building. It's we're in their algorithm. We are now under their skin. We are in their brain. So we are accomplishing together the goals or everything that you identified that what we have to do. So the only thing for us is to continue doing this and everybody to continue being the truth. Just being the truth. Everyone. Make that your identity. How could you not? How could anybody not have it as the right entity? Okay, so I don't know if there's anything else that you want to address on this. We'll go back to you. Yolotecuhtli, if you got any final closing statements, anything, the floor is yours.
Sí, voy a mencionar algo. Quiero manifestar que los primeros que rechazaron la imposición de una figura de rey, nuestros amados abuelos, sabios, líderes y gobernantes, los primeros que rechazaron esa figura fueron los primeros ejecutados durante la colonización.
I want to mention something, just to say that the first ones of our grandparents and ancestors, the first ones that rejected the figure and imposition of the king sort of thing, they were the ones to be the first ones to be executed.
Ellos dejaron mensajes a través de la tradición oral, recordándonos que nosotros habíamos y seguiremos naciendo libres.
And it's them, the ones that left messages throughout time saying that we would be the ones being born free.
Por lo tanto, cualquier personaje que haciendo uso de los atuendos sagrados, de los ajuares, haga referencia a cualquier figura que imponga una autoridad artificial, no nos representa.
Therefore, anybody that would just pretend to be us, using our regalia, dressing like us, and that by doing so, they acknowledge and recognize a fake construct of an artificial authority, that is not us. They cannot say that they are our representatives.
Es por ello que es importante que nosotros tengamos contacto físico y lo renovemos constantemente, porque hay muchas personas que, haciendo uso de nuestra identidad, han comenzado a viajar a otros países difundiendo el mensaje de que ellos son los protagonistas de la profecía del cóndor y el águila.
And that is why it is so important that we develop the ways of meeting physically amongst each other and renew that encounter as much often as possible, because what's happening with those people that pretend to be us is that they have started traveling around the world, and then they start saying that they are the accomplishment of the prophecy of the eagle and the condor.
Y ahora están aprobando los medios de comunicación en manos de quienes han cometido todos estos asesinatos. Han permitido que ahora esté de moda el ser indígena, pero con cara blanca.
And nowadays, with all of the media communications and the way how people portray to be native, it's like they have made it to be like a kind of like a fashion or a new vogue or a new wave. But now it is like people that are dressed like natives, but they are all have white faces.
Y ahora están usando nuestra cultura y nuestros conocimientos para comercializar nuestra sabiduría en forma de una mercancía a la que llaman ellos holística, New Age, y por un lado están desprestigiando, están contaminando y están deteriorando la calidad de nuestros conocimientos por el uso indebido de nuestra lengua, de nuestros rituales, de nuestras medicinas.
And again, it is them that are going to be going everywhere saying we are natives, and they are going to be doing it with the aim of merchandising, commodifying our knowledge. So they go around pretending that they are these knowledge keeper or whatever, and they just bring down our true knowledge because, of course, they don't know nothing about our true knowledge to be doing that. So they just dilute whatever they have learned, I don't know where, and then they make it to be like if it was our knowledge, when in reality they are just using our clothes, our ways to say things, basically stealing our identity for their own profit.
Es por ello que en algunos círculos hemos cancelado la enseñanza porque con la menor de nuestras lecciones ellos han ido ya fabricando todo un circo cultural.
That is why in many of our circles, we have even stopped teaching, because what they do is that they will go to one or two different, teaching sessions. And then from there, they're going to like create their own way of saying it, saying that they are carriers of this culture or that culture.
Y es por ello que la presencia ante los elementos sagrados, como es el fuego y como es el rostro y el corazón de otro de los nuestros, es lo que nos va a permitir el reconocimiento más allá de las identidades artificiales, de los IDs o de los ajuares o de las plumas. Lo que nos va a permitir es reconocernos, es la vibración, la entrega, el amor y el respeto que se le debe a la reunión de personas como nosotros.
And that is why I insist on the fact that when we are going to be able to meet each other face to face around a fire with our medicines, with our ceremonies, then that we're going to be able to recognize each other. And through that mutual reciprocal recognition, we are going to be able to grow in that fire that needs to grow, the truth of our own people. Because again, what these people are doing with commodifying our knowledge is like they use the feathers, they use the clothes, they use the bandanas, but at the end they are just like travesty our knowledge.
Exactamente. Y ahora incluso han estado promoviendo el rescate de algunos linajes y lo han estado promoviendo como si fuera cierto, y pueden decirlo y pueden tener los nombres patronímicos de sus familias, de sus linajes, pero en las ceremonias o en el trabajo que se tiene que hacer ritual, no muestran ninguna vibración ancestral, no muestran el respeto, no muestran los hábitos de salud que se deben demostrar.
And for example, if we consider that when you are in a ceremony, really what matters is not how you are being dressed, but what you're going to project, what is going to be felt, basically the vibrations. Nowadays, there's a lot of people that are claiming to be descendants of this governor or descendant of this lineage, and they might be carrying the names of their ancestors, and they might be descendants from them. But when you meet them in ceremony, and then you see how they are performing that, you can really tell that they don't carry the original instruction, that they are not respecting the basic protocols, and that they are maybe doing that more for a show than for what in reality a ceremony means.
Dicho lo anterior, bueno, ya solo para concluir este punto, mi mensaje final es, sí, estamos haciendo realidad lo que ya en los puntos he destacado a través de lo que es la reconstitución, es cierto.
And this being said, I want to affirm that what was presented as the points that I numbered, yes, all of this is being addressed to the reconstitution. That's true.
Y ahora solo en este foro quería que fuera expandido el mensaje, si es que la convocatoria se agrandaba, porque sé que hay círculos hermanos en otros lugares que están esperando la llegada de una invitación como la nuestra, de un círculo como el que ejercitamos periódicamente.
And I wanted to just take the advantage, thanks to your invitation, to come and manifest my presence here in this circle of nations that is aiming to a council, because I know that in reality, yes, there's a reconstitution, there was this invite as well. And I know that this is the work that we are doing, that many people are just waiting for an invitation to take part in such an endeavor, because that's what they all know that it's needed.
Y debemos, al menos es mi percepción, de usar lo que ya existe como jurisprudencia a favor de naciones indígenas en otros lugares, como en Panamá, como en Colombia, como en Brasil, todos esos elementos donde han ganado las batallas jurídicas nuestros pueblos son elementos que nos sirven de respaldo en cualquier corte, en cualquier corte. Entonces podemos unificar la jurisprudencia de otros territorios para usarla a favor de cualquier pelea o cualquier batalla que se esté gestando en otros lugares y territorios.
And I insist in the fact of unifying our jurisprudence, our laws, and actually using jurisprudence from other territories in order to benefit our own legal fights. For example, there's jurisprudence of original peoples that have defended their land that has been passed in Brazil, in Panama, in different places. So we should know all of these jurisprudences that have won spaces for the original peoples, so that we can utilize them somewhere else to create this transnational network of jurisprudence of the original peoples.
Y esto implica que el concepto de restauración lo recuperemos, porque la restauración no solo es que reparen el daño, sino que nos devuelvan lo que han ocupado ilegalmente.
And that involves obviously the concept of restitution, because restitution does not just mean, okay, apologize for what you've done and continue moving on. It means that they have to actually restitute everything that they have taken away from us.
Y eso, pues por mi parte sería todo. Estoy muy agradecido con el auxilio de parte tuya, Edith, pero también de la invitación y la deferencia de la Longhouse, de Stuart, que siempre me consideren y tengan un espacio reservado para que desde México la voz de mis ancestros puedan manifestarse con ustedes.
And that will be all for me, and very thankful, with a grateful heart for the assistance that I received from you, Edith, and also from the Longhouse, like that presence of everything that is being done, the work, and to always have me considered to be invited and to continue this dialogue that we have started. For me, is amazing. It's just very good. So I am really grateful for this.
Okay, let's leave this on though. Leave that on. We're gonna adjust a couple of the things that you said here. Oh yeah, translation. The thing about cultural theft, cultural identity theft, the wannabes dressing up like us, that nonsense, that is everywhere now. It's everywhere. In all of our nations, it's everywhere. There's somebody who's not us, who's professing that they're us, and they're lying, outright lies, to misrepresent things, which is a witchcraft. When you misrepresent, that's to put a lie into somebody's mind, to get them to believe something else, to alter their behaviors. So that's mind manipulation. Mind manipulation is witchcraft. So all of these people who put on these little trinkets and stuff and they dress up and go, woo, 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 these are witches. They're conducting witchcraft upon their own children, not upon us. They can try whatever they want. It doesn't matter. But to address that, the thing that I identified to you, what I was in court for on Monday. Okay, this is a case that I've been involved in since 2000. It's on 4 years now. The appeal is 2 years into the process, where anyone else, you get 30 days. 30 days to do it. I'm 2 years into the process because I'm forcing my rights to be recognized, to be upheld. They don't want to do it. They fight it all the way. Everything that we pushed, they fought it. There was a prosecutor standing there saying, no, no, and telling reasons why they should even throw our case out. And then there's judges sitting there saying, well, Mr. Mayo, you know, you take it so long, like big babies, like, yeah, crying. When we got precisely everything that we want, everything, every time we go into court, they just resist because they are racists. What the issue is now, why I went to the Supreme Court of so-called Canada, is because in a judgment, in the side argument, before we even get to the appeal, let's say this is the appeal, it's in a straight line. Before we even get there, there's a side argument about me not having to pay for the court minutes. So we get into a big thing like this, and in the judgment ruling against me, the judge from here in Montreal, a local judge, a woman, Judge Iman, something Iman, whatever, any Iman. She rules against me by lying. She lied in court. She identified the reasons why she ruled against me. She associates me with something that I never associated with in my life. She associates me with a construct created by the white man that they call Haudenosaunee. And all my people today are all stupid enough because they've all been Christianized. They all call themselves Haudenosaunee, which is good for them because Haudenosaunee are represented under the British imposed genocidal elected band system. So those are white people in the band system, full-blown white people, no native at all. They're white in each community. And it's them who identify as Haudenosaunee. And just 2 weeks ago, this group of, in 9 Mohawk communities, there's a gang, a cult of these band system ass-kissing sellouts. And they all get together and they call themselves the Iroquois Caucus. And the Iroquois Caucus just put out a statement 2 weeks ago identifying that they represent over 70,000 Haudenosaunee in 9 Mohawk communities. So that's what the judge called me, a Haudenosaunee. And that's identified as Haudenosaunee are under the band system. So my appeal in the Supreme Court of Canada is against this false labeling that this Justice Iman put upon me, something that was never stated in the court case. I never stated in my whole life. You gotta be stupid to claim to be Haudenosaunee. And there's a lot of stupid people around because they all claim that. So now my appeal in the Supreme Court of Canada is against Haudenosaunee. From within my identity, I am the last one left now, who is Ganasumwe Unwe. This is not Haudenosaunee. I am Ganasumwe Unwe. There is a huge difference to the elemental level. I am an element within creation, a force of nature. I am a wolf clan within the Kanienkehaka. Anybody who's Haudenosaunee, they don't even know what nation they're in. Because you got all these 70,000 people that they claim to represent in 9 Mohawk communities who all call themselves Haudenosaunee, they're all referring to themselves as Onondagas because Haudenosaunee is an Onondaga term. It's an Onondaga classification, categorization of oneself, which is Christian, Handsome Lakers. Well, I know you don't understand what Handsome Lake is. It's just a name, but it's to know that it's Christian. It's like saying if you were a Christian, well, then we'll say Christian, your name. So this is what they are. They're a bunch of Christians, a cult, that are actually registered under the white man in Washington, D.C. and Ottawa as a religion. So as being registered under a religion, under the white man, any religion is a charter granted. They cannot be political. That's where they stop being a force of nature. That's where they become just a bunch of ass-kissing sellouts who are traitors to our people. And they are not our people. They are the white man. So this is what we have to be solid on, that when we know somebody who could claim to be our people, when they have traded over to the white man, they're no longer us. Stop recognizing them. They look like us, their skin color, they dress like us, like you said, but they could be us. They could be your sister, your brother. Stop recognizing them. My own brother joined the British imposed genocidal elected system. It was about 20 years ago. He relinquished his identity. He's no longer Kanienkehaka. And just because he stopped being in the band system, can say, hey, I'm continuing on being Kanienkehaka. No, it doesn't work like that. When you're a traitor, and you're no longer back in. You're not in, you're out. Treat those traitors that way. That's what I do. Not a single traitor gets into my ceremonies. No way in hell. I identify and put the law down in my house, in my territory. There is no religion allowed. No religion. Anybody comes to my house, my territory, Longhouse grounds, if they have any kind of symbolage of religion on them, they're not allowed. Get out. As a matter of fact, I actually had to kick a very close person to one of our friends out of Longhouse grounds because of a corruption of religion within them. Because religion, no matter what, religion is thieving, raping, murderers. I don't accept thieving, raping, murderers on any level whatsoever. And if they get offended, big goddamn deal. I don't give a shit if the murderer, the thief, the rapist gets offended by me saying, you're a thief, you're a rapist, or you're a murderer. Let them get offended. Do not fear. Stand in identity and push the truth, even when it is right within your own family. I had to do it. If I have to do it, everybody has to do it. So it means that we're not going to have these traitors around us if you are vigilant. I have been vigilant in my house. We have separated from the corruptions of everything, all the corruptions of my people. We've separated over the last 50 years. And now all of them that we separated from, they're British imposed genocidal elected band system ass-kissing sellouts. They're warrior society sellouts that were created out of the band system, or they're Christian handsome bikers that were created by the band system. And I'll work for the band system. I don't accept any of them. None. I have separated from all of them for the past 50 years, what enables me to go into the Supreme Court of so-called Canada and to lodge this argument against the lie that a judge imposed upon me, calling me Haudenosaunee. So now we are at the level of what you just said. We are literally addressing the wannabes, the liars, the ones who are there with fake feathers and going, ooh. We're addressing that on the legal issue, in the legal arena, in the Supreme Court. So they don't even realize, the band systems across the country don't even realize right now, their heads are on the chopping block. Because on Monday, when I went and lodged this case in the Supreme Court of so-called Canada, the very next day, the devil came here, that guy they call Charles from Britain, and he came here to give a speech from the throne. Now, anybody doesn't understand that English is a bastard language. English is a witchcraft spell that has been cast over the entire world. The entire world is screwed up by the English. Everybody is cast under that spell. So that means that everybody does not understand what they're hearing when they're hearing English. So this guy, the devil that was here on Tuesday casting his spell, was here to chop their heads off, because the day before, I put their heads on the chopping block, or they did it themselves. I just acknowledged it. And so their heads are coming off now. There will be chaos here now. It's coming, no matter what. It's coming to our people. So the thing is that for you to stand strong everywhere in our territories, you have to be so solid that you can weather the storm of your own people. What this means is that they're going to try to kill you, your own people, like they tried to kill me. 7 times they tried to kill myself and my family within our own community and other communities within the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy. So they tried to kill me collectively, all of them, warriors, so-called warrior society, band system, all of them were together. Because we were the only ones resisting all of their corruption, the only ones staying in identity. Now they're all gone. They're all dead now. They are what we identify as Ramheo. They are dead. When a relative of yours dies, you can no longer sit with them and eat at the same table. You can no longer walk with them. You can't touch the dead. If you touch them, you might become dead also. So understand that once somebody is outside of law, they are, for all intents and purposes, dead to our people. They are traitors, and they are never to be allowed back to any degree until law is completely addressed. So without you knowing it, realizing it, this thing that is a grievance that everybody, every Native person is experiencing across Turtle Island, we are addressing it right here. We have initiated the process before the door closed. So it's important for everybody to know what Tuesday was when the devil came to town. Tuesday was when all the Jews walked through the door and the oven door was closed and locked on them. That's where all the Haudenosaunees are. All these fake wannabes are there now. And so my case now is addressing that. There's no way to avoid it because that's what the appeal was. And they accepted the appeal. It's being addressed. So rest assured on that. We are addressing it. There is nothing that we are letting go by us. We are addressing it all. Okay, so we're already way beyond whatever. I think we're all dead tired. Yolotecuhtli, any final closing statements then, like goodbyes, and then we're going to close up.
Pues solo espero verlos muy pronto y la determinación de mi ser y de los que me acompañan es que inicie el próximo año un viaje hacia los lugares como donde ustedes resguardan la actividad sagrada, el conocimiento, y que empiece a visitar otros lugares también para expander nuestra red, pero sobre todo para poder mirar de frente a nuestros hermanos que tal vez no pueden usar la misma tecnología que nosotros.
I just hope that we are going to be able to see each other pretty soon, and hoping that next year I'm going to be able to start also a walk, visiting different communities up north, such as yours, so I can really be there to exchange with you, and also to be able to see other sisters and brothers that might not have all of the time the opportunity to be able to connect to the technology to have these type of exchanges.
Y pues solo desde nuestra tierra de ilustres astrónomos, poetas, ingenieros y guerreros, queremos manifestarles a todos ustedes que nosotros somos, al igual que muchos otros pueblos, un lugar sagrado. Somos un territorio donde la traición no tiene cabida. Y pues desearles, manifestarles el amor inconmensurable que genera el encuentro, las palabras, el intercambio, la enseñanza que viene de allá hacia nosotros, será expandida en nuestros círculos de rezo, con los jóvenes que están buscando una pequeña guía para continuar con su crecimiento y evolución.
And just to reaffirm the fact that we are in this land of astronomers, of painters, of artists, of engineers, of managers, of warriors, and that from here we appreciate a lot this interaction that we have with your people. and to be reassured that the teachings that you transmit to us, that you bring back to us, are going to be transmitted into our different circles, into our different ceremonies, into the different activities we do, and that we keep you in our hearts, in our minds. Actually, these interactions always bring a lot of love, a lot of tenderness, a lot of just good feelings, because we are reconnecting with something very old. So my heart is full and happy.
Muchísimas gracias, Totlazocamachililia.
Very good, very good, very good. Okay, love, the big love. Kanienkehaka. The big love for all of us. Take ourselves out of the equation. Just look at what you can do to make that love there. And if you can then fit into that love, then you are functioning on the proper levels for everybody. I'm not saying this for you, Yolotecuhtli, but for everyone. So for all of us to do this, to check ourselves. We don't need police to tell us that I'm being rude to somebody else, that I'm being inconsiderate. No, check ourselves, check yourself, keep yourself in line, and then apply law in every other aspect of your life so that nobody else is feeling infringed upon by you or having their toes stepped on by you. And then that way, this is where then everyone else will just respond to you based on that. If you're not corruption, they can't respond to you as corruption. And this is something that I find, no, I'm not saying not corruption, but to whatever degree, I've taken a lot of corruptions out of my life, and what I see is that when people are around me, different people's in different positions of imagined authority, there are certain ways that they find that they come down off of their high horse and have to come and communicate or relate to me in a different way. And so it's not that I'm anything special, it's that I'm within identity. And anyone within identity, which is anybody can be, is special. We're all alive in this world. You are special. You have responsibilities to the rest of the world, the same way that every cell in your body has responsibility not to pass cancer to the next cell. So check yourself, everybody. Don't pass cancer on to the next cell. That's it before. Okay, so not just the closing. Do the closing? Don't do the closing. Okay, so to do the closing, we're just Edith's gonna do a closing. That's it.
We are happy that the life givers and the life protectors came for this council. Sista Soko, acceptan dajesque panchita, dengan acceptan dajesque celsa, sapotecni hunsage, mexika, wanerista, Kenatah yuni yang kino sedista, antohrai gano sesne, yadinyanga haga gano wage, ne wisni hunsage, anawanake gawanoge. Teitinuana tu gano wakeri yagesu, yang kisota, santaneka garakwa, yang kinistani hunsage nanagwet, kundo hetserat gawats. Yawago, Sawiskara, Sinikanya, Tarakeru, Aguego, Unquasu, Atano, Ague, Aquatsire, Yadinato, Yanata Yuni, the Discarawage, Jacunsese, the Ganawida, Wego, Rodiane, the Yohahio, Canigurio, the Nogayandawana, Ayanara Saragoa, the Gini de Yohade, Ayunkia, the Gan Hadandawaran, Hetzeran de Gan, and Quatseruana, Orihuio, Skana gasastansara da nogari wawarishonsara gasastansara de gunungwe, and the one gasastansara runungwe, awekawatsire, awekatsahaya. So we are grateful and in full recognition of love for the spirit that has created us of a sky woman. Also for our Mother Moon growing from new eventually to full. We are still receiving her waters, her love. So we thank her for that process that goes along 13 times within a cycle, a solar cycle. Also for our Mama Earth, for everything that she's giving us at this time, wherever we are, for the planting season, for the good seeds in the hearts, in the minds, and on her body. and also for the life givers in all of the different shapes and forms, for everything that they do, for everything that they carry, and so that that original instruction of love can be perpetuated. We also give thanks for all of the waters and all of the medicines in all of their shapes and forms, for the spirit of the clans, turtle, wolf, and bear, so that we can remember them, enact them, and come back to the counseling process. And for that, we give thanks for all of the peacemakers, female and male, of the past, present, and future. We ask for their inspiration and their guidance to fulfill the job that we have to do. We give thanks for the tools that we have at our reach of the great law of peace, the journey of the corn from south to north that constituted this matrilineal law of creation into a social structure that establishes peace. And we give thanks for the tool created from that great love, the Turo Wampum, to create the balance between the two different hemispheres of our Mother Earth that can be applied within us, with our interaction with the others, and our interaction in the nation. So hear that call of a union of the original nations to bring back that original instruction for everybody in the body of our Mother Earth to be in accordance with her and with her law. So we call upon the great love, like the huge, huge love that she gives us, that we can feel and vibrate with, for the peace, power, and righteousness back to the people, and so that the life givers raising up to the responsibilities and the life protectors raising up to the responsibilities together can enact these through council, so that we can apply the immediate solutions that have to be done quickly for the health of our Mother Earth. And maybe there's stuff that we're forgetting in this closing. We just want to say that if anything is there that was not said, that everybody puts it in their minds at this time. And that we are very grateful for everybody that was there participating or observing, because this is part of a growth of the Ganiguri, of the good mind. And if there's something that want to drag us out of that good mind and put a distraction or an obstacle in our heart and our mind, we say that we push it away on the from the three levels of the existence. Eres awet, eres awet, eres awet. So ganina yun tayo sa Wandigura.
Yeah, we'll go. Hold on.